last we left off, having met up for some time away from each other, accomplished your goals separately, and then meeting back up in Gomid Harbor, you all reconvene, share information, and then try to follow up on some of the leads, namely Janna's excursion into the far north, having found a small collection of these constructs. Not immediately hostile, strangely enough, and trading Error, the strange ball creature, for one of the fully complete Watcher apparatuses, who Janna has taken for a journey for a year and with no seeming progress into the task. But maybe one of the four corners, one Mondo, has some expertise in this field. And finding him in the white plains of Sant, traversing to who knows where, but after some difficulty, he managed to find him, get him to rip apart the now named glitch, its construct, and discover the cylinder that is in the center of each of these orbs, what is considered the mind that he theorizes. You sprinkle some arcanium on it. Seems to react, and it does seem to awaken some behavior. He goes on his way, and doing some experiments, Chris, you dump 4 vials of arcanium into the construct, where it just promptly shuts off. And as far as you were, that's as far as it went. Janna popped into the Pokeball, and you went back to teleport to Abethus while you sent Polaris to Noria. There you do find Tannen Lorig, your self-proclaimed mega fan. And he very readily gives you information after you broke into his office. You learn about Liz Ricaldi's involvement with the Thunderhead Project. You learn about some strange payments. You learn a good amount about Liz Ricaldi's goings-ons or motives. And eventually you meet the woman herself the next morning, having struck a deal with her after exchanging some words, learning that the Thunderhead Project is a sort of floating city, a flying city, that even she's not fully aware of what it does, but she knows it's powerful, she knows it's old, and she has been working towards that for quite some time, and you have been in the way of it. And you strike a deal with her to agree that she will stop the human trafficking, and she will get by slowly. But you, the Xodiacs, will have to make up for what she will lose, whether that's by coin or by just by raw materials, and helping to support the Thunderhead Project in a joint collaboration. She also threw out that maybe you can kill the Rexons on your downtime, but that's not technically part of the agreement. Though she did mention that maybe there's some extra pocket change in for you, as the Rexons have been a thorn in your sides for the both of you anyway. It is early in the morning. The day has started for Miss Caldy, and you are led, unassaulted, unattacked, just out of the front doors of the Silverwind office, the very same building that you once blew up a year ago. And you are on the amber-colored streets of the Paper Trail streets. The only splash of color in the gray district, but even that light eventually gets choked out by the overcast sky.
Before we get started, I forgot to do one thing. Sorry.
What's up? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, all good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so Xodiacs, 7 o'clock in the morning, with the dimming light eventually being choked out by gray overcast clouds. What are you doing? Oh, fuck.
So do we have ideas on where to get these resources?
We could always try The old jail cell.
It may or may not have some left over.
I mean, worth a shot.
It's the only place I know where we can get arcanium, so...
When you say old jail cell for, like, the thing in Chris's head.
Yeah. Ed. Let's call him Ed. I forget his name.
Can we... The only other thing I could think of was we could ask the Atneys if they've heard of any, like, rumors of where we might find something. Because they talk to a lot of travelers. Maybe there's, like, a fresh source. Because I have a feeling... I also feel the same way of, like, I don't know where else we would go. But I also feel like we're going to show up there and it's going to be gone, you know?
We could, well, since we're in Obethus right now, the Hall of Knowledge might have something.
You want to waltz into the Hall of the Ten after they've
Right.
made it pretty clear that we're wanted.
I went in there, last year.
Was that before we were wanted?
That was definitely after. He let me out the back.
Feel free to do that. I don't want to go in there. I'm going to ask the Atneys, but feel free to put your own life at risk.
You said it's like, what, 7 a.m.?
It is 7 o'clock. Yeah,
Alright,
the
I'll wait.
day's been going, but it's still, early hours in the morning.
Are there, like, bakeries
Uh,
open?
Probably at this point. Yeah, maybe like a little early, but like probably close by the time you walk there, likely.
Okay. Is there a place that would be selling something like donuts or bagels?
Oh yeah, and like you can see if you feel like diverting from the party or on the way there, yeah, there's a lot of the people that are up and about are either making their way to or making their way away from a couple of these like breakfast places mainly, and like it's like nice breakfast, like the whole spread and like a outside diner and everything, outside seating.
I would like to buy a box of donuts or bagels, whatever is available, to go.
Okay, yeah, a dozen donuts in a box. Yeah. Yeah, and you get like a whole assortment. You get glazed, you get chocolate, you get ones with little rainbow sprinkles on them, whole thing. Yeah, let's run you like 2 silver for that. Pricey for some paste from some bakeries, but you're the rich part of town.
Luxury.
Yeah.
2 silver.
2 silver.
I would like to go to the Atneys. I don't know what everyone else is up to.
I'll come with.
If you go to the Annies, I'll head to the Hall of the Ten and see what I can find out.
I'll head with Chris.
Okay, splitting 2-2. Let me grab just some tokens, just to denote where people are. Okay. All right. So, as you split off 2-2, Jana and Riley going to the Atneys, Chris and Zero heading to the Hall of the Ten, so you can glean some information there. Let's start with the Atneys. Jana, you ding dong the bing bong, and sure enough, those black curtains fall out from just in a wall in an alleyway. Very familiar over the past year. Walk through, and you do see it's early enough in the morning where you do catch the Atneys, and they're just pretty much not mid breakfast, but like they're just finishing up. You see like tea saucers with like little crumbs in them, and they're already geared up, and they look like they're about to head out in like probably the next couple minutes.
I'll flag them down and be like, hey, if you guys get hungry later, I brought some goodies for you guys. And I give them the box of donuts.
For them, okay. Yeah, you give them a nice pink box of donuts. It has like the nice scrolling on it. It's a nice box of donuts.
I feel like if you're gonna show up in someone's house at 7 a.m., you better come with donuts.
This is true. These are social cues. I have no idea because I just don't leave my house. Yeah, and Theopor gladly takes it. Well, that's very kind of you, Jana. We just finished up. Hey, you always guys have some snacks. Sir just yells at the back, donuts! As you see, Yabeti just runs out. You can see him scrape, like just doing like a handbrake turn with a claws, just out of his room. And then Orville's already there. And he just takes one very gingerly.
Riley
That's
will
very
kind
kind.
of snap his fingers at
Is there
Yabeti
one with
from like 5.
Is there one with locks for Riley? Riley, you don't have to partake in this, but I just remembered that locks. Oh, that's a bagel thing. I'm sorry, we have donuts. There is no fish donut for Riley.
That's fine.
Those are
Riley's gonna
fish
give up his
bagels.
fish to Yabeti right now anyway. He'll give him 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like a trained dog. You like toss it up in the air and Yabeti just lunges for it, catches one in midair, and like with weird deftness, catches the other 4 in his hand, and he just scarfs them all down, and then takes, grabs like a handful of donuts, whatever, and then sort of just piles them on the floor and just slowly begins eating them, combining them into like a mash, and then just crafting fish and donuts into a single meal.
Fish and bread, a combination as old as time itself.
Fish, bread, and sugar. Oh, that's very kind of you. Not enough for a discount, but very kind.
Oh, no
Well-
worries. We actually wanted to quick ask you guys some stuff before you headed out.
Yeah, shoot.
This is kind of on the down low, but we figured you guys might have heard anything of where... Have we had a conversation about Arcanium before? I think we have.
Yes. A year ago-ish, yeah.
Would you happen to have heard of any tales of where someone might go to find something like that?
To find...
Like
I mean, you
maybe
could-
Like a
someone
natural
somewhere?
wellspring of Arcanium.
Oh, a natural well. Okay.
Or even vile. I guess we don't need, like, a lake of it, you know?
Well,
We just
it's...
need enough.
Yeah. It depends on who you ask. We have access, a small access to Arcanium. We're somewhat licensed. But like there are reputable vendors in some places if you have the right credentials, which we do. So we are technically legally allowed to work with Arcanium. Aquamarine is still technically classified as a drug, so we don't carry that necessarily. But
Is this
we
like,
also don't really sell it.
is this like a medical card situation? What do we need to do?
A little bit. You just need to have credentials. Make sure you know what you're doing and prove that you do know what you're doing, and just kind of like pass like a test in some way.
But can you sell it to us?
No, not technically. The
Not
actual-
technically.
no, I mean we have it, but like actually distributing it would be an offense, which I don't want Silnian hunters after me. We do get it from Silnia.
Selnia.
but-
That's a good lead.
They get well, I actually don't know where they get it, but they have some apparently. And they do distribute it to some of their students, professors, and any other practitioners or inventors that have need of it, as long as they are deemed qualified to handle it and practice it safely. Use it safely. Well, it looks to you Betty's workshop, which has a couple new singe marks, mostly safely.
And what's the name of this organization again?
We just get straight from the academy.
Oh,
Oh,
that makes
lovely.
sense. Do they still like us over there?
Unclear.
I think not on paper.
We need to go kiss and make up. Okay, well that is very useful. Thank you for that lead.
Yeah, it's I haven't really thought about it, but I don't actually know where they get it from. I just don't really ask these sort of questions. I sell things I don't necessarily question where they come from.
No, leave it
By the
out.
way, did you saw that sword?
Oh,
it's,
is he talking to me?
Well, he just asking either of you. That big evil sword you came in with a while ago. It's we still haven't really gotten instructions what to do with it, so it's just been hanging above my mantle for the past year.
You exercised the spirit out of it, right?
No, I mean I don't think I got any descriptions of what to do. We were just hold on for it.
Oh. Oh, in that case, we'll have to speak with the gang.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's,
what that was. I don't know what we're...
Yeah, Zero
you
took
picked
it
up
from
a
Estonia.
you picked up a big evil sword from the jail.
Oh, okay.
It's a big evil great sword from when you broke into Riley's jail place, the Black Harbor, and there's just a big evil great sword in their storage that Zero took. Yeah, and as far as I remember, I think they were just asked to hold on to it until a further decision was made. But
Yeah,
it's
I
been a
guess we
year.
didn't decide to like exercise it yet.
Can
Like,
we
it hasn't been
cast
whispering.
Can we cast a message to Zero real quick? Just be like, yo, what do you want? Do you want something done with this?
Probably a good idea. I'll do that and I'll send to Zero. And I'll just say, big evil sword, what do?
Oh, who's
Whose
that?
mic is on?
That's Mills.
It's not mine.
What? Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
it might be
On
Simon.
Who's phone?
I didn't hear anything, so maybe that was me. What was that?
Oh.
Maybe that was me. Because if I didn't hear anything, then yeah.
Would them using that spell? Cause I know. Well, I don't really know the magic behind the Atney shop. Would the spell reach me outside of there?
There's only a 5% chance it doesn't.
I was also thinking of using the group chat thing that we have, but either way works.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess we can
Yeah.
do that.
Like,
Oh yeah.
You can just step
Never mind.
outside
I'll
and
save
do it.
I'll save the spell slot and I'll just do the group chat. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Best thing we ever did.
Good investment. I think it was Josie's idea. Yeah, you can just step outside and just send a message to everybody technically, but
Yeah, can I just like...
actually
my-
I don't think Zero technically has the rock actually right now.
Well,
Oh
Chris
yeah,
does.
it's a steal it.
I'm gonna just like stick my hand up the curtain, type on the rock, whatever this thing manifests as, and just ask Chris, ask Zero about big scary sword.
Janet asks about the big scary sword.
Fuck, I forgot that was there. Tell them we'll find out by the end of the week, hopefully, but just keep holding it for now.
Okay.
I send that to them.
Who
Okay,
am I,
and
who
you
am
get the message
I
back.
talking to specifically? Which brother?
Theobor, you have not heard Rupor say a word this entire time.
Theopor, I'll just let him know.
I will be right back.
Okay.
I guess you can just keep hitting that above your bed for now. We'll let you know soon.
Okay, I mean, sure. I mean, it hasn't been whispering to me, so that's a good sign.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good mantelpiece. I just don't like the fact that it has the soul of a serial killer in it. Yeah, I'll hold on to it.
Well, doesn't bother you enough to not put it above your head while you sleep.
It did
And
for a
then I
little bit,
just,
but then,
like-
it looks pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like, every room needs at least that one piece that's kind of like a conversation starter, you know? It's like that one weird thing that's like, oh, what is that? It's like, oh, that's actually the sword that a serial killer of hundreds wielded a couple of years ago.
No, baby, where you going? Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll hold on to Felmore for a little bit. Anything else? Any transactional purchases?
I'm certainly considering it.
if you
I
wanna
don't
buy
know
something.
what though. I'll probably just grab a potion of ice resist. Just oh no, I already have one. I'll grab another one. Fuck it.
Is there like a dollar spot here?
Like a bargain bin?
Yeah. Like 100 gold or below.
There's a, let me see. Let me see what it actually is 100 gold and below in
You
this
can
place.
also do Riley's thing first. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
was like, I'll buy like the equivalent of like bubblegum at the checkout.
There's a bead of nourishment, which I think you eat it once. You eat one, it's like a little gelatin ball that you eat, and it's all your moisture and food for the day.
Too bad.
I can already
That
do
is
Jennifer
75
and
gold
Carter.
per.
Yeah, do Riley's thing. Maybe is there somewhere I can go to look at stuff while you do that?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of just like everything. Mostly everything is like displayed on shelves, but like a lot of them are just like store pieces that don't actually have value, but like they represent stuff in the store. And like, yeah, there's like a small little section.
I found a list of 100 minor treasures. I will go through this.
Sure. Right, what were you doing?
I want to just potion of ice res.
Okay.
I can't really think of anything else to do. Maybe one of heat res too, if there is one.
Yep. They're both the same price. That is 250 gold per potion.
100. All right, yeah, I'll grab one each.
Yep. So that's a cold resistance and fire resistance, respectively.
Not heat res.
That's the same thing.
Okay.
For fire resistance, at least.
Yep, I'll just do that then. I need to add another resource, or you can add the fire potion.
I mean, like it functionally does what the other resistance potions does, just for fire damage. As long as you mark it somewhere on your thing.
I'm just trying to find where the thing to add stuff is. Is it this? Nope. Oh, use it here.
Yeah, just somewhere in the character sheet.
You know what? I'll grab 100 gold worth of diamond dust as well.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
And it's 100 gold. That's all I need. I don't actually really need any of that, but it's something to buy.
Better to have than not, at least.
Yeah. What's your Betty's workshop looking like?
A little more singed than normal. A lot of the wood panelings look new and fresh because they had been replaced after being destroyed. Yeah, but looking in, it looks as messy as it was before. A couple more crumbs and maybe fish bones just piled around, but yeah, he's still eating like this ball of mashed donuts and fish, just taking big chunks out of the soccer ball sized meal that he's now made.
Does he have any new stock?
Let me see what else he has here. Would you like another bag full of bees?
No. Funny as that is. I'm thinking more like his expertise, not his makeshift.
Okay, hold on. I will find it. I have a list somewhere.
It's been a long time since you've had to break it out. It makes sense.
God damn it. I don't know. I don't remember which app I had it. Okay. Yeah, he's like in the middle of chewing through like mouthfuls of the paste that he's now made. I sort of ask him like if he has anything new checking in. He sort of pulls out this like almost looks like a very large tuning fork, with these circular bands sort of running up in like almost like a corkscrew up the shaft, and then ending in like these two very sharpened like prongs. He sort of holds it towards you, presses a button, and you see that an electrical jolt travels up through the shaft, across the corkscrew, and then into the prongs, making this very loud clicking, cracking sound as the lightning sort of touches in between the forks.
And what is this used for?
He jabs you in the leg with it, and you feel the most excruciating pain, if only briefly, that you felt in a long time.
So it's like a taser, basically.
Yeah, it's like a taser or a cattle prod.
Riley is a walking taser, so he don't need that.
Yeah, that's currently all it has to stock.
Okay. Keep it up, little buddy. That's all my business is here, then. He already has his fishies. We can wait for more.
Simon, am I able to find an immovable rod?
You can actually. That is not a common, but like it's not an unknown thing.
Uncommon. Yeah, it's not
Uncommon,
super
yeah. Yeah.
It would make
They
sense
do
to
have
be
one, actually.
here.
Yeah. You can get one for 500 gold. I actually do have that in the list.
Wait, how much money do I have? Man, I can just barely afford that one.
Jesus.
Let me do the math.
Would you like to try to talk him down that price?
No. You know, sometimes you want to patronize your friends, you know? You don't need...
Calculated schmoozing, I see.
Here we go. Okay, I will take it. Because it seems fun, and Janice still can't fly, so this feels like a good way to cheat fall damage.
So we might
I
pop a
still have
socket.
Featherfall.
There's a lot of use for movable rod. It's one of the cooler magic items you can use if you're creative.
That's what it
Like
says.
plug doors and
which
stuff.
I'm gonna forget I even have this, but when I remember one day, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. You have a rod that can just become rock solid in midair. Like
No one can move it.
no one can move it unless they're exceedingly powerful.
I'll just because I have it, I'll read the description. This flat iron rod has a button on one end. You can use an action to press the button, which causes the rod to become magically fixed in place. Until you or another creature uses an action to push the button again, the rod doesn't move, even if it is defying gravity. The rod can hold up to 8,000 pounds of weight. More weight causes the rod to deactivate and fall. A creature can use an action to make a DC 30 strength check, moving the fixed rod up to 10 feet on a success.
It's a solid item. Quite literally, it's a solid item.
That does sound fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with it.
There in 10,000 feet above the ground.
Before we leave, I don't know if we've already done this before. If we have, then we can just use the excuse that it's been a year. Riley's gonna take out the little trinket, and he's gonna be like, "Do you guys have something that can analyze what's on this?"
Oh, the ancient trinket that you've had for the beginning of the entire campaign.
Yeah.
Sort of takes it. Well, not on me, but it requires a series of specialized tools and apparatuses. A whole room, I think.
A whole room. Oh.
Whole room. Not something we have on hand, but well, if you're heading to Silnia anyway, they probably have one. Maybe.
Yeah, we know there's one in Silnia. I don't know if we can access it.
Yeah, well, that'd be likely be your best bet.
Well, worth a shot. All right, Asnes, and the Orville, and you, Betty. That is my business concluded.
Yeah. Jana will pull out a secret donut that she stashed in her pocket and give it to Orville, knowing that your buddy was gonna do that. Like, just so you could have one.
Yeah, and he takes that one, and just it's more or less pristine condition. Wrapped it up in some of the napkins that they gave, and sort of goes, wise as ever. Thank you, Jenna.
Alright.
It was thoughtful that you anticipated the arrival of the reptile.
That's a great album name.
Arrival of the reptile.
Yeah. Alright,
All right.
we leave.
As you bid your farewells. For now, you're probably going to talk to them in the next 3 days, but yeah, for now, turn back through the current and you find yourself out into the cobbled streets of the paper trail, the donut shop, a little less populated these days. Everyone has gone to work, donuts in hand, bagels, chewing on them, coffees in little paper cups.
Just as a side note, Riley's gonna go ingredient hunting.
Gonna go
Ansman
what?
roasting him has kind of gotten to him a little bit.
Just like, yep, fish. It's all we've been eating for the past like 6 months.
I want to get stuff that'll complement fish really good.
Sure, you can find a number of salts and herbs and like a lot of like veggies. Yeah, and just if you want to try other meats as well, a good amount, especially in around here.
How much will that run me?
For good quality ingredients for like a meal for at least how many people? Like 5 people in the dragon for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Probably like 20 gold for like all of the ingredients. The herbs, most of the price comes from the herbs.
Consider it done.
Yeah, and it's a fairly large load, but you have magic, easy enough.
Or a
Yeah.
bag of holding anyway.
A bag of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it would be like a wagon full for other people, but you are not other people. Yeah, but now the stores are officially stocked. Okay. Any other business on your sides?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Zero and Chris, having got the message from Janna on the way to the Hall of Knowledge, and yeah, making your way in. You don't get assailed by anybody, and even checking through, you're trying to keep an eye out for any wanted posters, and people here, even though you're technically still wanted, people here have moved on, mostly forgotten. You're no longer the hot news. So, while maybe not completely safe, at least you won't be just recognized by some kid that just happens to have seen your poster that morning. You do manage to make it to the Hall of the Ten fairly briskly, and yeah, you see a lot of people already. The day's already started. They've already begun. All the torches have been lit up. Everyone's getting about their day, and there's quite a amount of people here, like getting here for like morning prayers and such. You see a lot of hymns being chanted, a lot of just like sermons being held, and there's all sort of like echoing, bouncing off the very large, echoing central chamber that connects all these halls together, and it almost makes this cacophonous sound of just pure religion. But the sermons are not what you're here for. You're here for that knowledge. Making your way to the Hall of Knowledge, where Borm Oldlight is not doing a sermon, but he is just slowly, quietly reading, as is actually a lot of other people here. There's a lot of people just stood around in the tables, just slowly turning pages. As you approach Borm Oldlight, High Priest Borm Oldlight, the halfling man bun wearing surfer bro that you all are aware of at this point. He just looks up in a quieter voice. Whoa! Hi, it's been a while. Been a while.
Yep. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. You're still alive. That is good to see. Good to see. Sorry, just morning preparations for the rest of the day. So shh, quiet.
Oh, I see.
But I don't think you're here for the for the religion of it all. So, well, what are you here for? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for knowledge on Titans.
Okay. Any particular subject about them, or just Titans generally?
Maybe maybe locations where there might be dead Titans.
Oh, well, that's a little. Well, judging by your track record, that's not really a surprise. Zero, are you just full zero? You're in disguise. Oh yeah, I guess Misty's gone now. Never mind. Titans, yeah. Well, I can't guarantee I can find the locations. That's kind of a... If we knew the locations, I imagine that'd be a bigger deal. But we'll see if I can find maybe some old forgotten journal somewhere. Try not to
Perhaps.
disturb the rest of the readers here, if you can.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
Okay, just make an investigation check for me.
Not a bad
Okay.
start.
Good. Oh, is Misty back?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, cool. Are you looking for any particular subject user, or are you just going to help with Chris?
I think once we get to the hall of 10, I'm gonna go to a different hall so he can do his thing.
Okay. Where are you going?
Which hall was it where we had that fight with Slippery Zachary?
That was the Hall of Valor, if I remember correctly.
I doubt they're doing anything right now, but I just want to kind of pop my head in.
Okay. Been a while since I've thought about that area, actually. Hall of Battle, not Hall of Valor. Yeah, but we'll do Chris's things there. Investigation check for Titans. You don't find locations of dead Titans. At least not in the more or less like a giant public library, but you find information about Titans. A lot of the areas where there have been known Titans have already been picked clean, at least from the records. As the bodies of Titans, like ages ago, were not a hot commodity, but it's sort of just valued. There's been a couple locations where there has been found, where dead Titans have been found, but according to these records, they've already been more or less looted, and these studies of it have been recorded on some of these books. And some of the processes involve draining the Titan of any latent arcanium it still had in it. Seeming this arcanium is still fairly volatile, like as if it was straight from the Titan itself, despite being thousands of years dead. A couple of locations that crop up are the Silverwood. A couple of them, most of them, come up in the sea, like they've just found it, like on the coast, or like at least somewhere deep sea, and some errant like explorer happened upon it. One book theorizes that the Great Dragon Bridge that bridges the mainland and Narset is a dead Titan. Like a sort of snake Titan, in at least judging from the actual physicality of it. It looks like a large skeleton, but that's just theory crafting. Yeah, and a lot of the details of the stuff they went through, all the... it was a hard process, seemingly. It is not easy to extract anything from Titans. And the books you do find over the next however long you spend here reading, probably like the next hour or so, involves a very detailed process of like all the trouble they had to go through. And it took many hundreds of people with many... it was like a full-time job just trying to get through like the hides or like inners of a Titan. And this was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, like beginning of this era.
Okay, so the land bridge, that's like between Narset and the mainland?
Yes, the physical feature that separates Narset and the mainland is something called the Great Dragon Bridge. At least that's what it's been known to be called. The entrance looks like the skull of a large creature, and it is like a narrow strait, at least from what visuals they can see of it before they get shot to pieces by the people that defend it.
Okay, I see.
That is a theory.
Again,
Technically, yeah,
And
it is a
you're
game theory.
watching.
Okay, that is an option, or silver would it set it as well.
Yeah, the book that you were reading that detailed the extraction processes of a Titan's body was located within the Silverwood, or at least the place that is now called the Silverwood, that forest south of Abethus.
I think that's all for now.
Okay. Yeah, and it's you go through a couple books and you kind of occasionally bump into a reader and you just get shushed very harshly by like 12 people at a time, almost eerily at the same time. Like any noise and they just get angry with you. But you do manage to get that information out. Okay. Anything else from the Hall of Knowledge?
I think that's all. I'll just relay this information back when we reconvene.
Okay. Zero, you pop your head into the Hall of Battle. Okay, are you looking for anything in particular?
No, not really. Just looking to see what's changed
Okay.
and see if anyone's here.
You do see the bronze dragonborn man with the just heavily cleft, covered in scars with like little flecks of red scales, and a crest of 4 horns that curl backwards, but one has been broken off, left eye missing, and just covered head to toe in scars. Just still wearing the same aged and battered plate armor and the great sword at the side. Very familiar face that you've seen once, that once berated you a year ago. You don't see any other familiar faces, but you do hear these sounds of battle. Normally you would hear cheering last time you hear, like people egging people on, bets in some way, people drinking and just having the good fun of sport, of battle. This time you just hear the sounds of a melee happening in the pit, but you can't see it visually from where you are currently. You just see or hear not much other than that sound, but you do see people just kind of closing their eyes and just sort of leaning their head down, almost like in silent prayer to the sound of battle.
Okay, can I just like walk up to, I guess, where everyone else is standing to view the fight, and I'm just gonna watch the fight.
Sure. Yeah, you walk up and you see it is between a human woman that is just covered in blood, whether it's hers or her opponent's, not sure, who's carrying a large shield and a spear in the other hand. The other is a half-orcish man, also equally bloodied, battered, no armor, but is carrying a large great axe, and they're both just having at each other full force. And they're grunting, they are attacking each other with, looks like, intent to kill in some ways. And it's just as bloody as it's ever been, and no one's saying anything. And they're just sort of keeping their head down. Just, you see a couple of their mouths moving, like saying something, but you can't make it out over the sound of yelling and bloodshed.
Is there like a place where they keep like, I don't know, like, does the Hall of Battle have like any events that they hold where they're like, oh, here's a holiday and we have like a list of people who are in a fight and these are like the best fighters or anything like that?
Oh, jeez, what the hell did I press? There was at the beginning of this month.
Damn.
Yeah, the retelling of Baintil, like the story of Baintil. and also just a lot of fist fights and a lot of melee. And tournaments is one of the things that happens during a holiday. The first storm.
When's the next tournament?
Next year. Big tournaments, at least.
You were looking for round 2?
Kinda.
Yeah, this is the one time you've been here. It has just been like a battle arena, but it hasn't been like a bracketed tournament or anything. It's just like a guy jumps in, another guy jumps in, and they have at each other, and it's who wins wins. Yeah, but the organized tournaments, like the big, large, like citywide events, that would be the holiday for Baintil, which is beginning of this month.
Gotcha. Just let us watch the fight then.
Okay. Yeah, and as you're watching, it lasts quite some time, and like you're somewhat impressed by the stamina of these two people, and they are, despite taking almost look like grievous wounds that would have killed a lot of people, they keep going until eventually, not even due to injuries, the half-orc man eventually just collapses due to sheer exhaustion. At which point, the sound of battle stop as the one with the spear just sort of backs up, gives a small bow as the man does the same after standing up slowly, and everyone mostly simultaneously just lifts their head up and just goes about their business as you see robed figures on either side above the pit sort of cast something in the air, and a hawk that are sitting up in the rafters swoop down and then gently heal them slowly. Are you in disguise while you're in here, or are you just full zero?
No, I'm just walking in.
Okay.
Is there anyone familiar in here? Like, other than the high priest?
Other than the high priest, not really. Everyone here looks like new faces. A lot of them are, almost pretty much all of them are, in some ways, battle worn. Like they've seen some shit, but or at least know how to handle weapon, but no one technically familiar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but the battle is concluded. As you sort of look around, you do see the high priest sort of just looking at you. He still just stood in the same, or sat in the same spot you seen last time, like his favorite table or something.
He's looking at me?
Yep.
What kind of expression am I looking at?
Just a very blank expression. You don't sense any. It's hard to pinpoint an emotion. At least not from a glance. You can make an insight check if you want to.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if he's feeling anything, but he is just currently looking at you with like a deadpan stare.
That's fine. I'm just gonna, I don't know, just hang out there, I guess. Is there like railing or something around the arena?
There's not actually. It's just the open pit. You could just fall in. But yeah, a lot of people are gathering around the edges of the pit just to watch the next fight. Whoever wants to volunteer in some way.
I will give him a respectful nod from across the room, and then I'll stay and watch the fight.
Okay. Yeah, as you just give him a nod, he doesn't respond back. He sort of just looks. Doesn't nod back. He doesn't move or doesn't look. His face doesn't change at all. He just sort of stares. But as you turn back, you sort of glance back, and he's diverted his attention away from you, and is also keeping his eye on the battle itself. And you see numerous combatants come in and either rock shit or get their shit rocked, or sometimes it's a close match, like the first one was. And however long you stay here, at least an hour while Chris is reading, if you want to. You see combatants, young, old, martial magic, go in and come out bloodier. And the sand, it was already red from the first fight, but now it's beginning to turn like this very deep shade of pink as it gets mixed in with the sweat and tears and other people's blood being churned over and over again by their feet.
Are there people placing bets already?
There are, yeah. There is a small little tavern section where before there was like some sort of solemn, silent prayer. Now the atmosphere has kicked up and there are people cheering now. And life has resumed and religion is over.
Yeah, I guess during my time there, I will get a look at the fighters ahead of time. Not like I'm cheating. I want to place my bets on fighters that I think would win.
Okay. Okay. Make an insight check, but add your proficiency modifier to it. This is just to see if you can judge from your. What's your proficiency modifier?
The 6.
6. Okay, that's 14. It's not bad. Yeah, so you're just getting by on straight experience in combat. You're looking at what you're familiar with, and pretty much nothing else. Like you know what you can do. You know the. You're fairly quick, fairly nimble. You're good with like small blades, and you're good at throwing them as well. And so that's what you tend to hedge your bet on. Anyone that's like swift, nimble, and usually uses like smaller, lighter weapons, that's who you bet. They don't always win, but sometimes they do. Over the next hour while Chris is reading, let's say you make a net profit of about 65 gold.
Excellent.
Yeah. At some point while you're betting, you sort of turn back to go to the fight, and you see that large High Priest Dragonborn just stood in front of you, sort of blocking your way in some ways.
What kind of expression does he have?
Same.
Can I insight it?
You can insight check. Okay. You gather he's not like pissed off, which is hard to gather to begin with because his face is sort of just neutral at all times. But you're sort of looking at his eyes now, nothing else, and it looks like he's trying to judge intent, same as you. He sort of looks to your dagger, Truth Seer, at your hip, sort of in its sheath. You do not carry that dark weapon anymore.
No, not for quite some time.
Why?
I mean, it did what it did to Zachary, who didn't deserve that, so parted ways with it.
He sort of inhales deeply, and as he sort of exhales, you can see the breath is a little blue in some way. Like, you don't normally see air, but as he exhales, this is like a blue vapor sort of exits his nostrils. This is a place of battle, bloodshed, and death. But there are those that have earned such things. I hope your parting with that weapon has given you heed of this lesson.
I'll just nod yes.
He just turns back, heads to his table, and just posts the greatsword up against it as he sort of leans forward, judging the rest of the fights.
Guess I just continue to watch the rest of the fights.
Yeah.
Wait, is there anyone rich here? Like, rich looking here?
There's people that have nicer armors and like weapons and stuff, but like straight nobility. Not much here, honestly.
Do I see anybody who may look like? Because this isn't just like in this like hall. They don't take just strictly like melee fighters, right? Like, are mages allowed to fight in
Yeah,
here?
there's a couple of mages, like magic users that use like combat magic, like they use like shield. You catch a couple of the spells. They use shield. They use like firebolt, fireball, lightning bolt, like classic spells. Some of them try to get a little tricky with it, and they try to like use illusion magic and try to like dupe people. They try to use all sorts of magic. Like there are a number of combative vocations here. Like you see people with crossbows, normal bows, just people that throw axes at all times. You see, kind of hybrids of all three as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, but every single fight, there's no shortage of fighters. There's a good amount of people here, and some of them that got their shit kicked the last round, like 30 minutes ago, are going back in for round 2. Like they just chug like an ale, and then their bodies numb to themselves with the pain, and they just go in again. Like a lot of people doubling up, sometimes tripling up, and occasionally some people just call it a day and new people come in. Like there's a constant influx of just new people that just need to fight. Some of them aren't even technically fighters. They just look like farmers that are having a dispute, and they're using the arena as like a way to settle their grievances. Which is one of the things that this place is for, is to get out like any violent aggression in a monitored place. Yeah, you can stay here as long as you'd like while Chris finishes her reading. Chris, do you eventually get 0? Or are you just gonna...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably look around.
Yeah, and eventually, as you're done reading, leave, and you just find 0 sort of in the hall of battle, just watching over the pit.
Is there good combatants here?
I mean, they're doing their thing, I guess.
Would you fight them?
Yeah, I think it would.
I could jump in.
No, just because I don't want to hold up the session.
Okay.
Well, I'm content to listen.
Could call the Jana and Riley here.
I don't think either of them want to show their face right now here.
Are you able to somehow do like an abbreviated fight? So I don't want
What
to
do you
stop you from doing what you want to do.
I wouldn't mind doing like a 2v2 or something like that.
I don't. Jana's not going to the Hall of 10, is the thing.
Yeah, Riley probably also isn't. But I don't mind. Bowen does not mind.
Sure, if we can make it quick.
Okay, jump again.
Me and Chris, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
I'm imagining Simon is picking the wimpiest, slowest, weakest warrior. It's just like, oh boy, my first fight. I hope I do good.
No. Oh, no.
I got my dad to be here. I hope he's proud of me today.
Oh, shit.
You both jump in. Oh boy!
Hey, wait a minute.
My dog.
I recognized you guys. Your magic stands no chance against my jam. I basically have this one. And then you break out the fists. And he stood no chance.
Okay, I'll pull out a map if, let's go theater of the mind for this. Okay, so Zero, you jump in. There's no waiting line. You just jump in and whoever comes in.
Based on like the crowd, do I feel like once I jump in, just scanning the crowd, do I feel like any of them might recognize me and Chris?
Make an insight check.
I'm not good at those.
This is this fourth insight check in a row. Hard to tell. You've been here for like in that last hour, and no one seems to have made a stink so far that you're aware of. Okay, but are you jumping down just normally, or are you gonna do some cool flips?
I'll do a flip into it.
Acrobatics check.
Acrobatics?
Which I don't think you're very good at. Maybe you are. I don't know. You do flip. You do an actual
Oh,
solid
shit.
full flip, full tuck in and everything.
Fucking flip wizard. Crazy.
Elves are bullshit.
Chris is bullshit.
This is true. Very true. Okay. As Zero, you just jump in slowly and you look up and see Chris do a full tuck, Olympic level front flip into it. The crowd begins to cheer, not any louder than normally would have. As you both jump in, they're under the impression that you guys are going to fist fight each other.
Wait, so who do we speak to about communicating? We're trying to fight the 2v2.
As you're in there and people are beginning to like jeer you on, ready to like amp up the fight. Zero, you see a glint of armor. The armored dragonborn sort of stands up, great sword in hand, sort of hefts it over his shoulder and jumps in. The bronze armored dragonborn, the high priest of the arena of this hall, is in the pit with you.
Is this the only person you could throw at? Who could like stand up to level 18? Oh my god.
The priest himself.
He sort of looks towards you, Zero. Doesn't really know Chris, but he looks towards you. Show me then what you've learned. Roll for initiative.
Kill them. Kill them dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I learned not to
definitely not a
miss.
good idea.
You should have aimed for the head. Let's have you both your tokens up just for initiative's sake. Okay. Shitty roll. Chris, you go first.
Um,
You are in a fairly large circular pit with sand. There's some spikes around the perimeter, and there's a central pillar in the middle, also with wooden spikes on it. What are you doing?
how wide is the circle, or what's the diameter? I guess.
Full diameter is probably about 60 feet.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna go on. I will use Chris's chaotic containment
Oh god. Okay. This is
On-
it's happening.
on the other the other side of the circle where the opponents are.
Okay. You guys are roughly about apart from each other. So yeah. Roll a d10. I think it's a d10, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh god, what have I done? Oh Jesus.
Show me that what you've learned. I've learned to leave everything to the wizard.
Okay. So, you cast Chris's chaotic containment. What does it look like? You casting it. This is your new spell.
Well, I just wave my arms, but like it kind of in an elegant way, but in like kind of making geometric shapes and that sort of thing, and then kind of place it at a specific spot, and it sparkles and it's kind of blue and that sort of thing, and then it unfolds, and then the one object of one of the things come up, which I think is an unsettling doll.
Yep.
And the unsettling doll is gonna have its head twisting around, and it's gonna I guess say creepy things.
Yeah. As the almost ley lines of geometric patterns begins to just be placed down nearby High Priest Kagra, they begin to unfold, and as it does, a single, almost very creepily cracked porcelain doll begins to just sort of float in its place, its head rotating. You hear just giggling, almost echoing across and bouncing off across the walls, and then it begins to duplicate. Needs to make. Well, it's not his turn yet, but that is your turn. There is now a ever expanding area of creepy dolls. Okay, is that your turn?
Yeah, and then I'll move back a little bit.
Yeah, you sort of just make some space away from the area that you know is going to be not a good place to stand in for quite some time. Okay, Zero, what you doing?
I'm going to. How far is he away from me right now? Do you reckon?
Roughly about 30 feet.
I'm gonna cast Blur on myself and just slowly begin walking. Not slowly, but just casually start walking towards him, like closer to him. I won't close the entire distance, but I'll just get like about halfway and then end my turn there.
Okay. Sure, that's your turn. He needs to make a saving throw because of these dolls. Oops. He succeeds. Yeah, Chris, oh, Jesus. sort of looks at the one doll there. Now it becomes two, then two becomes four, and it just begins to slowly expand to this fairly large area eventually. And it just there tends to be any stopping this duplication. He sort of just pushes through it. You can hear the creepy whispering and the very hushed tones are speaking in. He sort of just bats one arm away, just making a swath through the dolls. He sort of marches out, greatsword dragging through the sand. He sort of looks towards you, Zero, for a little bit, sort of grabs the other, puts the other hand on the greatsword and begins to charge you. He's going to make 4 greatsword attacks at you. What's your AC?
It's 18 and Blair is active.
Okay. Blur is disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay. 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 2 of them hit you. Blur saved you a couple times.
Okay.
Okay. You take. Oh, jeez. 26 slashing damage from the 2 greatsword strikes.
Can I uncanny dodge the second attack?
Sure, that brings it from 13 to 8. No. 7. Cool. And you
What's
still.
the new total?
13. That's 21 total.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that's blackjack.
This is true. He slammed on the cards. Yahtzee. Yeah, and he's now face to face with you after chopping through 2 of your illusionary forms. He eventually begins to sort of hone in, not even looking at you, just perking one ear towards you, and sort of just spins around, slices across one thigh. And as you begin to just recoil back, he's already in the middle of a spin, chasing after you, and just take a clean strike across the chest. As the sword hits the ground, embeds itself in the dirt somewhat, he sort of just looks at you, dead in the eye.
Okay, and I have to make a Constitution save for the concentration, right?
Yes, just beat a 10. Yeah. Yeah, being caught off guard has made you lose concentration of the spell, as you weren't expecting this fairly heavily armored, heavily, like wielding a heavy weapon, fairly large dragon to be this quick. That is his turn. Chris. He's now kind of well out of the area of Chris's chaotic containment. But you know it's going to expand. It's going to eat up like most of this arena at some point.
I'm gonna use Pulse Wave
Okay.
and push him back in.
Okay. You sort of position yourself in a way, try not to hit 0. And cast Pulse Wave. Is that a Constitution saving throw?
It's yeah.
Okay. I think he fails with a 14.
I'll cast it at 6th level.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Roll for damage.
I'm not sure if it's going.
I don't see anything.
Hold on.
If the dice doesn't roll, that's a nat 20, right?
Yep.
Is that the rule?
Yep.
I was trying to make an equivalent of like, if it doesn't scan, it's free.
I don't know why I won't go.
It's a sign. Time to order the rest of those parts.
Gasparus dies. We all get performance anxiety every now and then.
How much damage does it normally do?
I think 66 force damage.
That's normally or
Yeah,
not increased?
yeah, that's normal.
Okay. And you're casting at 6th level. It is a double spell, so that is 96. So I can just quickly roll that real quick.
Oh wait, I think it
He's going.
went through.
I still don't see it. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay, that's 34 points of force damage. And he gets pushed back. How many feet?
I think it's 5. Originally, it's 15 feet, and then it's 5, 10, another 15, so 30 feet.
Okay, so
Back.
that push him straight back into it, yeah. Okay. Oh, alright. Yeah, as you sort of maneuver away, he's currently just having slashed through Zero twice. You sort of just focus, and the sudden eruption of concussion energy pushes him back. He's skidding across the floor, not falling down, but he is being pushed by that concussive force you just emitted from your hands. He sort of slides to a standstill. He's now, again, firmly embedded in that spot with the dolls in it, which has now grown in number. Grown in number, grown in size. It is now a little more difficult for him to escape that. Okay, is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay. Zero, here we go.
Do I have to do anything in particular to make my dagger 2 daggers, or is it just 2
Nope.
daggers?
You just have 2 daggers. You just draw them as normal, pretty much.
Okay. And how far away from me is he now?
He's now 30 feet from you.
Okay.
What are all the weapons being used in this fight?
Weapons are being used, yes.
What weapons?
He's using a great sword, and Zero is using just their daggers, like any weapons.
And I'm using a wand.
Yep.
Can I give like a little cinematic bullshit in between?
Sure.
I'm imagining these transitions where it's like sword or a dagger comes in, and then we get a cut scene across town to Riley buying meat, and it's like the butcher's knife like on a slab of beef. I'm just like this really mundane of like, oh, that looks great, thank you, yeah, I'll take that wrapped, and then we cut back to this like really vicious fight.
Two of your companions are having a fight to the death, and you're over there. It's like, so how much is this salt? Like, where's it from?
You zoom in on the
Himalayan.
sand.
Wow, all right.
Having
Pink
two,
Yeah, it
salt.
turns into
two
salt.
very different days.
Seaver's just being run through with a great sword and now bleeding out. So the difference between bagels and donuts is that the bagels are like using. And you are 30 feet from currently Zero.
Okay. Will I take any damage if I get into contact with Zero's fucking not Zero, fuck Chris's like dolls and shit?
I think so.
I will.
Friendly fire was
because-
turned on, huh?
How far do I have to be?
I think it's currently it's a
10 feet?
15. Oh, yeah, it's 10 feet cube right now, but it grows every turn. So it's a fairly sizable cube. You can get within melee-ish, but then after some time, it might be hard to melee him if he's in the center of that area again.
So they're surrounding him. It's not like a barrier where there's like still melee space. They're completely surrounding him, taking up all the space.
Pretty much. Like, he can still walk through it. There are just dolls, like, he can, but, like, they're magical dolls.
What happens if I go in there?
You have to do a saving throw, and if you fail, you take 40-10 necrotic damage on a failed save, and if you fail by 5 or more, you just die.
Oh, this was a bad idea.
Bowman, oh, this was a bad idea.
This is Chris's custom, like, fully homebrewed 8th level spell.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Get in there, Zero.
I don't think that hawk is going to bring back the High Priest. I think 0 lessons were learned.
It's like, have you learned your lesson? Next time you get there, High Priest is dead. He's a corpse.
There was no slippery Zachary.
The slippery Zach with the friends we made along the way.
I don't even know what to do now. All my stuff was gonna be melee, dude. What the? Damn.
In fairness, he hopped in alone.
Can
What do
you
you
amp
mean?
Chris up in any way?
The High Priest hopped in alone.
Oh
He didn't bring back up.
no, there's nothing I can do for Chris.
Just... Do you have your, Azek?
Yeah. Oh,
Just huck a dagger at him.
What's the thing that we never do where you could just take a turn to, like, defend your, like, prepare to block?
Dodge?
Yeah.
Well, that's not really it, but... Yeah, we never dodge. That just gives us, or it gives the enemy disadvantage on attacking us.
I'll say, like, he's probably barely in the area at this point that you could try to melee him at this turn if you'd like to. Though the area only grows in size as time goes on.
the space around him, does that qualify as an unoccupied space?
Yes. Like, there's an effect there, but it's not occupied by a creature.
I want to be the guy
Okay.
who plays the drums here.
There's a full band here, too. There's, like, battle music going on.
From my current position, okay, I'll close. I'm not gonna close the entire space between us because yeah, he has shit around him. I'll get as close as I can, and then I'm going to manifest echo with the bonus action, and then I'm going to let's see. Okay, because the echo for Echo Knight is different from the one on the Truth Seer. The one on the Truth Seer is like if once I finish an action, it disappears, right? Once it finishes a task.
Yes.
Okay, this one doesn't. It's just there until it goes down.
Yeah, it just to do with the attack.
Okay, then I will use my bonus action to manifest Echo, and I'm gonna use Unleash Incarnation, and I'm gonna take the attack action and make the Echo attack him with my Truth Seer.
Okay. This hits. Alright, 7 piercing.
And as a fighter multi-class, when you take the attack action, I automatically get the 2 attacks, right?
I don't think with specifically Unleash Incarnation.
It wouldn't go by the fighter stuff because I mean it's a fighter subclass.
I think the Unleash Incarnation specifically just makes 1 attack,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
No, it sounds right.
Okay, 7 damage.
Yes, that's my turn.
Okay. As you summon a shadow version of yourself, a somewhat mystical, wispy, farty version that sort of just crops up near him, and he sort of just wasn't really expecting to be assailed by a lesser copy of yourself, and he just sort of slashes through him once. It does take the damage. He does take the damage, and he does was not expecting it. That is some. You sort of find a gap in the armor and just manage to strike through there. Okay, that's your turn. It's now his turn. You have to make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. What's your spell save DC? Chris?
It's 20.
He barely succeeds this. Okay. The whisper is getting more intense, greater in size. You can see as the cloud of dolls that are now flying in like the spiral around him in that area, he's beginning to sort of put the fear into some of the people around as it has no signs of stopping. But he begins to just keep his head down. You can see he just steals resolve and just marches forward again. He sort of meets you halfway, 0. Let's make 4 more attacks against you. You still have blur. No, you don't have blur on. Okay. What's your AC?
18.
18. Okay.
I'm gonna be your
3. Okay. 3 or 4 of them hit.
Okay. Can I know the hit numbers so I can see if am I allowed to know like what the actual hits are? So I can use defensive duelist if I can.
Okay. The first one is 15.
Okay.
Second one is 7, and the third is 12. Wait. 13. So the first one would be more damage.
Wait, I thought you said what? I'm asking what the attack rolls were.
Oh, sorry. I thought that I was the one with the damage rolls. I thought you were
No,
uncanny dodging.
I don't think no, I'm using the defensive
Defensive
duelist.
duelist. Okay. First one was a 22.
Okay, I'll just use it on the first one.
Okay. That reduces the damage from. That's 21 points of damage to you. Down from 36. As you manage to parry one of the greatsword attacks, as the other 2 manage to squeak by. Weirdly quick with this giant, heaving greatsword. You now get slashed 4 times by him, and he's just marching towards you, still just a blank, neutral expression. Is this all you've learned? Show me. Okay, he's going to circle around you slightly and is putting himself between you and Chris. Sort of still engaged with you, 5 feet from you, but he's out of the cloud, but he is closer to Chris slightly. Now. Between the two of you, sorry. That is his turn. Chris, what you doing?
I'm gonna cast Fire Shield on myself.
Okay.
Warm Shield.
Okay. So if he hits you, it does cold damage? Weirdly enough, I think.
Fire damage.
Fire damage, okay. Alright, that's your action?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that's your turn. 0.
I'm gonna make 3 attacks with my Truth Seers.
Sure.
Wait, what do I have to do to summon Adzik? Is it a bonus action?
I think it's a whole action. To like summon him from like plane to plane. If I remember correctly, the spell. Okay, you're making 3 attacks.
Hold on, I'm checking the rules if I'm familiar. Oh, yeah, you're right. Ugh. Yeah, just the 3 attacks.
Okay. Make 3 attacks. Okay, 2 of 3 of those hit.
Okay, on both of those attacks, I'm gonna use 1 charge each of Mind Overload.
Oh, jeez, okay. Okay, 16 for the piercing, and then,
It's a 3d10, right, actually.
3d10.
So ignore that first one.
Okay, I think he has to make a intelligence saving throw. Which he's not good at. Okay, that's a natural 1 on both of those. So that is... It's 50 damage total from both mind overloads.
What do I do? Fuck, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna use Action Surge to summon Ezek.
Okay. As you action surge, you do the three attacks. He parries one of them, but the other 2 do manage to get past the guard. He's sort of swinging the greatsword to keep you away, but you manage to slip under as you also begin to summon Azek, as he's an owl, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. And he's currently just perched on your shoulder.
Okay. And that's my turn.
Okay. Okay, it's now his turn. Okay. He's going to use Retreating Slash. Oh. Not great. He swings his greatsword towards you, Zero, as he sort of backs up, trying to keep you away. He tries to go for you, but he misses. You dodge, more like. As he does, he tries to rush towards Chris. But you do get an attack of opportunity on him. He just did not hit you with that.
Okay. Guess I will make another one with troops here.
Okay. This one hits as well. Okay. He's looking hurt. You see, he's still stoic as ever, but he is bleeding now from several wounds on his body, though he doesn't seem to bother him that much. You can see a lot of the people around you are now cheering with the unexpected entrance of the High Priest. Only been a couple seconds, but he's now rushing towards Chris, who makes his remaining 2 attacks on him. Jesus and Jesus. Okay. That's a 12 and a 17 hit you, Chris.
I think, yeah, 17 hits.
Okay. You take 10 damage to you. As he rushes up with unexpected deftness and just cleaves the greatsword across your chest.
And then the fire shield. Do I do that?
Right, yeah. This does happen. Cool, so roll for damage for that.
Oh,
Oh,
I
because it
just
doesn't have
do-
it. Just roll 2d8. $11. Okay, I think he's resistant to that though. Has its 2-6. Cool, but now you now have a fairly hulking dragonborn just bearing down over you, Chris. Which is now your turn.
I'm gonna do Steel Wind Strike.
Okay.
Oh, that might just end it.
Okay, make an attack roll. Or just roll, yeah, roll for the attack. This hits. Jesus. Cool. As you sort of just disappear in a blur, then reappear, sort of bashing the hilt of your wand into the side of his head. The concussive magic energy sort of just explodes out to the other side as he begins to just reel backwards. There's now this like crushed scale dent where your wand used to was impacted the side of his head. Okay, but you're still within melee range.
I think I'll stay there for now.
Okay. 0.
How far is he from me now?
About 20 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna have. Is commanding Isaac a bonus action?
I think so.
I'm not sure because normally find familiar can.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think Find Familiar commanding him is actually. I don't think it takes
Yeah,
anything.
it's
I think he just has his own initiative.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you just tell him what to do and he'll do it.
Do you want me to roll for his initiative or is he do it?
Let's just say he takes it roughly on the same turn as you.
And where's Chris in relation to him? Like, are they? He's right on Chris.
He's right on Chris, and he's currently High Priest is currently in between the two of you.
Okay, I'll close the space and flank with Chris.
Okay.
And good.
That was it.
Okay, I'll make 3 attacks again.
Okay, that's all with advantage. 2 of those hit.
And I get sneak attack for flanking, right?
You guess yes. Okay, that's 42 damage total. He's not looking great.
And that's my turn.
Okay. Okay. Okay, he's going to use heavy cleave. I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws. Oh, whoa, Jesus, okay. Okay. High priest can't do shit.
Chris has decided he's going to become a gymnast.
No, just unexpected high rolls from the wizard. As you're now both in this melee range, he sort of just pulls back the great sword. You can see him just happening over his shoulder, widening his stance as you both instinctually just duck down. As with barely a razor's edge between the two of you, he just spins around in a large arc, doing a circular cleave around you, but hitting nothing. As he makes this perfect circle with his feet in the sand, just leaving this like very beautiful pattern in the sand around you, but you just hear the whipping of a blade pass by you, barely grazing your head, but hitting nothing of import. He's now haggard, bleeding, and directly between the two of you. Chris.
I think I'll just do a dagger attack with the wand.
Stabbing him straight up.
Yeah.
Big dagger attack with the wand. What a disrespectful way. I hate. You just try to stab him, just straight up, just shank a high priest warrior, as without even really looking, he sort of just bats your dagger away with the pommel of his greatsword. Like, he's barely paying attention to you, Chris. He's only doing it because you're a wizard and you're dangerous and he knows this, but most of his attention is focused on Zero right now. Which, speaking of...
3 attacks.
Okay. Two of those hit. Okay. Zero, describe your finishing blow.
What's the most respectful way to do this?
That's up to you.
I didn't think I was gonna be fighting him. If I knew it was him, I wouldn't have fought him because I feel disrespectful.
Kiss him.
Just give him a big ol' smooch.
I'll do it somewhere non-vital. Like, I know it won't kill him anyways, but I think if I was like throat or heart or something, that's fucking rude. I'll just do it kind of in his kidney area and just make eye contact with him. Not like I almost wanted to be like kind of reminiscent of what I did to Zachary, but the thing with Zachary was like that was like filled with malice and hate, and this is more just like I'm keeping eye contact with him out of respect. I'm not making any faces or anything, just respect. Respectfully kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, as you sort of just as he bats the dagger away from Chris, you sort of take that opening, very slight opening where the sword's no longer pointed at you directly, as you sort of slip under and just stab him somewhere in the abdomen, away from anything particularly vital. Just like their organs in there for sure, but not ones that you necessarily need to survive for like immediately. And you sort of just stab him directly in the gut as he sort of just looks towards you, sort of looks at the dagger as the blood begins to pool out, drip onto the sand, just adding to the pink stain of the floor that you've been just trotting upon for the last couple, like half a minute.
If he goes down, I don't want him to actually like hit the ground. Like if I'll catch him or rest him down softly or something. I'm not gonna let him just like fall.
Yeah, it feels like he's about to, but then one step forward he takes just lands with a really sudden impact as he keeps himself upright as he's about to looks like he's about to pass out from just blood loss as he sort of sticks the greatsword into the ground to keep him stable. He sort of looks up towards one of the priests as they do some sort of hand signal as the eagle flies out of the rafter and lands on his shoulder, imparting some of the magic on him as the haggard appearance begins to fade a little bit as he begins to just march forward, back straight again, with all the regal warrior demeanor that he's had this entire time. He sort of looks back towards you, Zero. You've been well traveled, I can sense. It is rare for those to best me.
It wasn't easy. I'll just put out my hand to shake his or whatever. Like predator style handshake.
He takes your hand, but he also just sort of goes, humility is not befitting of a warrior of your skill. Be proud. He sort of looks towards the giant, ever-growing cloud of dolls, which people have now begun backing away as he begins to just encroach the edge of the pit, even beyond the bounds of it. This was far from close.
Is there prize money?
He sort of looks up towards the betting area, and you see like Halfling goes, I mean, a lot of them bet on you, High Priest. A lot of unhappy bettors. He begins to just walk towards the edge. Just begins to slowly climb up to the edge. Claim your prize. And looks towards you, Zero, as he begins to sort of slowly make the way to his spot. Hold your head high and know you've shaken off the shadows. He just sits down, begins to nurse a wound as someone begins to just slowly carry him a drink as he just slowly sips it. Yeah, but as you all both climb up, the halfling begins to carry this fairly large pouch towards you on this fairly just very simple platter. Counting it through, it's roughly 1,347 gold.
That's a lot.
That's pretty good.
They knew High Priest Kagrat. They did not know who you two were. They thought you were going to be minced.
Do we split that?
Who are you asking?
Oh, you.
Oh, me? I mean, yeah.
No, I think you should give it all to Riley. He was definitely the MVP.
That's true. I can't really argue with that.
Yes, he didn't do anything.
There's a really classy move you could make right now.
What's that?
Could donate it back to the temple.
Yeah, I planned on doing something not like selfish with it. I don't know what though. I just didn't want to do it in front of the high priest because I figured he would yell at us for not accepting the prize or something. But yeah, I'll accept mine.
Okay. And thank you. If you'd like to split it evenly, that is 673 gold and 5 silver for each of you.
also I recognize you guys can also just keep the money. I forget that. There's no non-mean way to say this. You are our poorest players.
There's no non-mean way to say that. Oh, yes,
You are the resident broke bitches of this party.
it's true.
Wait, how much gold do you guys have?
We're also the silliest, so.
I think Jana is probably the richest out of everyone, but I don't know how much Riley has.
Well, why don't you reveal that number and then I'll reveal?
Why don't you reveal your number?
Because I built a boat.
That's true.
Fair.
I have 8,824.
Oh, what?
Broke bitch my ass. You have more than I do.
Does he really?
Aren't you always
Yeah.
asking for us for money?
Oh yeah, you built a boat. Shit.
Yeah, I
okay.
literally built a boat.
At the start of the session, I had like 9,000 gold. I'm a little over 8,000 now, post Rod. Man,
So I have 831 gold.
Okay, so now we have a resident broke bitch.
Yeah.
That's fair, because you had to feed like an entire town.
For 2 years, yeah. 2 years worth of rations.
I'm not giving Chris a fucking dime ever.
Do we still have community pot money?
We do.
We do.
Huh.
Normally, I feel like that goes for things that like we all want, and not somebody has to fork over something, you know?
Mm.
When was the last time we even had to do that?
We haven't needed it. We haven't needed anything in a long time. We have like so much money now. Well, not anymore, I guess, but we did.
We might save it for endgame or something like that. Do something cool.
I mean, we have 3 bases right now. We have a dragon, we have a boat, and we have a Chris's castle.
What if we like
That's true.
glitched up our dragon at the end? Like, you know, decked it out. Bought dragon armor.
That'd be cool.
That's
I thought we were going to
probably-
try and help the dragon return to human.
I mean,
I
we
mean, he can
could
look cool
try to
doing it.
turn him in. We could try to turn him into a human, but he wasn't anything before this, I think.
Yeah, didn't we discern he was actually a human before this? I seem to remember
That's
that being a
fucked
thing.
up.
He was a human,
No,
and
I
then
think
he
it
got turned
was,
into a house stick, and then the house stick got
The
turned into a
head.
dragon.
It wasn't the dragon, you're right, it was the head.
Yeah,
I think someone made the head.
I mean, I don't feel like it's any different than all the other bullshit magic items that are out there. Like, everything was something.
Like Sophie.
no, but Sophie is a warlock patron.
Do any of these halls contribute to getting the
Youths off the street.
How did you literally know what I was gonna say? How did the fuck did you know what I was gonna say?
I heard the mouth word for you. And I was like, youths off the street?
They finish each other's sandwiches!
God.
Maybe the Hall of Life. The god of Arwen. Goddess Arwen. Healing, fertility, such things like that. The hospital.
Okay. Oh yeah, the hospital where Zachary died. Yeah, I'll take my winnings and I'll go donate them there.
I was not even just like, oh, the big hospital. It's like, oh, that's the one where Zachary died.
Wasn't
That's the
that
big-
also
that's the big
place
event.
where like corruption was revealed and people got outed for spreading a fucking virus that killed an entire section of town?
Yep. And where Tan and Lori went after he got exploded by a magic missile.
Oh, that's true.
Where's that guy? I wanna follow up with that dude that got caught. We just kind of like we're like, okay, we trust you guys, and like left him here.
I think we did get an idea. Wasn't he apprehended?
I think last time you talked to High Priest Rethar, that's what was told, yes.
I hope there's like a weeknight drama set in this fake, I don't know what to call it, hospital ward section.
Oh yeah, like fucking Grey's
Like
Anatomy.
a Grey's Anatomy, a house, whatever it is. Scrubs.
There's always something going on at any given point in this hospital. Yeah, but you have successfully beaten High Priest Kagra. Got a good hefty chunk of money.
I donate my money to the Hall of Life.
Okay. Yeah, and they readily accept your donation as the High Priest, the older human woman. It's like, oh, thank you for your donation. Not many patrons do. We've had need for bandages and clean dressings for some time, so this is much appreciated. Thank you.
Just give her a little bow.
Yep. Yeah, and you kick the shit out of the High Priest and use the money from that to feed some kids, heal some people. Chris, are you just gonna keep your money in your pocket?
I'm gonna keep it.
Yep. That's yours, technically.
He needs that ink and paper, dude.
It's true. It's a constant drain on his supplies. Yeah. Anything else to do in the Hall of the Ten? Okay.
They don't have a gift shop, do they?
I don't think so. No. A couple of these institutions do. I don't remember which one they had, but I think it was the Academy when I had the gift shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like I don't know. I was only asking because I was like, oh, if they have like a little mini statue or something I could take home to my mom. 'Cause she worships. Which one is it? Len?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any little relic I could. Even if I have to steal something, is there a little something I could steal? Yeah, decorative plate.
Yeah. Like I don't think they have a gift shop where it's like it's just like I went to the Hall of the Ten and I got with this lousy T-shirt stuff. But it's like I think you could buy like religious materials from the Hall of the
Can
Ten.
I pitch you one thing though, Simon? It's fun for me. At the if you go to the Vatican, they don't have Pope merch. But if you're like 1 foot outside the gate of the Vatican, boy howdy are there people selling their homemade, unlicensed Pope Benedict merchandise.
No.
Which is how I have my Pope lighter. Just a lighter that has the Pope on it.
It's just like, yeah, I got a real genuine finger of Jesus. Here you go.
For you see, I have
Take her
broken
little
into
idea.
the Vatican, and I have stolen the Pope's Undertale Steam key.
I've never heard a more brand new sentence than Pope merch.
I'm sending a picture because until you see it, you don't understand. But that's my pitch. Take it or leave it.
Because the Pope merch. I want to see this later. Wow, that really is a Pope Francis. Lighter. How they...
Praise and blaze. Oh, it doesn't even show on the side. It's got his name really big too.
Oh my god. Praise. Please. That's a good one. Jesus. No, that is
Exactly.
something I want. Francis. Papa Francesco. They do not have a gift shop in this Hall of the Ten, but it would be very funny.
You're telling me the Hall of Commerce doesn't have shops?
Gambling. That you can buy religious materials from these places, but I don't think it's like a just like a hey, Great Hall of the Ten T-shirt like 2 steps out the door.
What do you mean, religious materials?
Like candles and like crosses, or not crosses, like necklaces, pendants, something like that.
Oh,
Stuff like,
something like that. I'll get her something like that.
yeah, you can get those, but like that. It's just like fucking Great Hall of the Ten ball caps,
Mugs.
and mugs. Yeah, like collectible candlesticks holders.
My God, I've been looking for this one forever. It's so rare.
Yeah, I mean, you can grab like those religious iconography stuff probably from the Hall of the Ten. They're not like super expensive. Well, there's probably ranges. Do you want a nice one or do you want like an okay one?
No, I want a nice one.
Okay, I need like 2 gold.
Okay.
Extravagant for a single piece of like jewelry, but yeah. And it is a 9-pointed star, like all gilded in gold, and is like beautifully emblazoned, and like it's very detailed. Like it looks like someone went through like a microscope and like slowly etched it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get her a little gift. That's it.
Yep. Easy enough. All right, but any other business in the Hall of the Ten?
Not I.
I think that's all.
Okay. Let me get this shit out of here. Okay. Where y'all meeting up, if at all?
We have relaying rocks.
I'll ask, where are we meeting up?
Probably just outside of the Hall of Ten, maybe.
Okay.
Is there like
That
a
means-
bar we like going to? Tavern?
We could always hit up Monthoth Ickelnewman and try his poisons again.
Is he still in? Is
know
he
what?
still in business?
Maybe. Yeah, we haven't checked in a while.
Let's go. Let's meet there. Let's find out.
Okay.
All right, so you take some time. Let's say it's been about 3 hours for travel and the reading and everything. But making your way through the city, you don't see any signs of bounty hunters. It's been a whole year. They're not going to spend that long looking for you. But you do occasionally see some of your posters still up. If they're a bit old, ragged, and kind of covered up, but up technically. But looks like no one's really been bothered cycling through new flyers to put up. They've just been they kind of got complacent about it. It's like, oh yeah, this shit, and like nothing's come of it for the entire year.
I wonder
What
if
was
news
the
even reached.
bounty?
Hmm?
What was like the money that they were offering?
It was a lot, I think, at least for a
Like
normal
3,000
person.
gold.
It was 3,000 gold alive per member, and half that dead.
Hmm.
They also misspelled the Zodiacs.
Great.
How do they spell
Awesome. No,
Z.
where were the ex-Zodiacs, not the other guys. Those guys are lame.
Xodiacs.
They spelled it correctly. Like, when you actually try to spell Zodiacs, but they did not know it was spelled with an X.
it? Oh, I do like that. Of like, we tried to be the Zodiacs with a Z, but it was already taken. So we're like, what's the next letter over?
We tried to make a new account. It's like, this username has been taken. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, we didn't really want to be associated with criminals, so
We tried the Yodiacs. It just didn't hit.
Oh my god. Ron, that would have hit.
I would have taken you guys like 4 in-game sessions to like choose a name.
well, because the corners ambushed us and we're like, hey, so what's your name? And you got phones on your game. Oh, I can't believe I got that backwards.
Y'all got Snake on that Nokia. Well, yeah, but making what the fuck are they called? The Nightshade, right? It's the Nightshade now. Yeah. Yeah, making your way to the Nightshade, the location of a massacre last time you were here.
Second
But also-
last time we were here.
Yes. The third time you were here, you found a newly revived Antoine under new management of this strange, tall, 8-foot tall man, Monthoth Ickelnewman. But you eventually all reconvene there, just waiting for the new sign outside, or hanging, blowing in whatever breeze there is in the city, walled cities, and it's just the very simple image of a nightshade flower with just the nightshade written on it. Yeah, yeah. You walking in?
Yep.
Yeah, as you all reconvene, Jenna and Riley, you notice that Zero and Chris have new slash marks on their body, and they're a little covered in blood.
Oh, I forgot we didn't heal. We just kind of walked out.
Yep.
So should I take this as a sign that we should get out of here, or?
You should see the other guy. He's doing way better than us right now.
Okay, so we definitely have to get out of here, like right now. Then. I mean,
We just had
We're
what, you
we're
left the
safe.
guy.
we just had a little bit of fun in the Hall of Battles.
Oh, maybe start with that.
Eh.
You can't come back with Chris like that.
Prize money.
Well, we got a lead that there might be some arcanium at the academy, or we can find out where they're getting it from.
Let's do it.
Just waltz back into the academy.
I mean, I don't know. Ask Chris. Chris has it has an in with him, doesn't he?
Well, I haven't really had contact with them for like over a year, but from the research I was doing on Titans and that sort of thing is that apparently, in theory, there's the land bridge between Narset and the mainland may be part of the dead Titan. However, it's heavily guarded there, so it may not be the best. But also the Silverwood forest might have some Titans, dead Titans, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, just guessing on where things might be. Silnia may have some. We should go to Blackbeck Quarry.
We found
Hoping to
some
have a little more
notes
than a
on
guess.
Blackback.
Just there's like, yeah, there's the line and bridge. This the Silverwood. Selny might have one. Let's go to Blackback Quarry.
It is on the way.
Yeah.
Well, the only other thing we can think to do is intercept the trade in Calbay. But, I mean, our actions here kind of cancel that out to begin with, so maybe not.
I forgot that we're here because obviously we had to talk to what's her name, but also because Polaris is heading to what's that city called on the coast?
Noria.
Noria.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah, I guess we don't really have to stake out a warehouse anymore, do we?
where to then? Dragonless, but where to?
No, we can fix the dragon problem at any point.
What
Yeah,
feels the
but I
most
think-
promising?
What was that?
What feels the most promising?
The most promising is most likely Narset, but it's also the most dangerous.
If there's anyone who's prepared to do it, it's us.
There might be things in Silverwood,
Yeah,
Well,
we're
I guess
closer.
and we're nearby.
Ooh, are we making the trek 5 foot? Are we going back to the good old days?
Is there even a Silverwood to go back to? I remember Chris fucking burned it down last time.
Things can grow.
Oh wait, can we go get the horses?
I mean,
Are
the
the
horses.
horses gone? Are they just fully gone? We
Did I-
fucking
did-
haven't seen fucking Fieri in over a year.
Did I send to Fieri? I remember sending to Fieri. Did I actually do that, or did I fucking hallucinate that?
I feel like you thought about it, but I don't know if you actually did.
I think we
Could
left
be
them in
wrong.
the Granal Woods.
Maybe.
Oh,
It does sound familiar, but I don't remember if you actually did or not.
if we're going to go find Fury and the others, then we're going to be teleporting all over the place anyway.
Right, but there's a lot of places where we can't teleport to, but we're not going to take the dragon there either, because the dragon's in the middle of making a trip for us. So we could teleport to Nelid to get the horses, and then teleport back here, and then make the trek to Silverwood on horse, like the good old days.
Bo-
What was that?
okay.
I just heard bop.
Okay.
Chris,
So
do
Nelid?
you- Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you have like what's the closest place we could teleport in Nelid? Like, is it Pratchell's house?
Yeah. Pratchell. Probably Pratchell's, yeah.
Does that sound like a plan, gang?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Chris, you.
I gotta see if I have chalks still. Yeah, I have a thing of chalks, okay. Yeah, I'll do the teleportation circle to Pratchell's.
Okay. Yeah, as you teleport to Pratchell's, just having met outside the Nightshade, using the teleportation circle, just in the alleyway where only like a year ago you were teaching Janet, you were teaching Anne how to throw a knife. Same place. You just bamf one location to another, folding space itself to Pratchell's house, where we will take a break. You all appear within the teleportation part, the portion of the Pratchell mansion, if you will. It's pretty much just like a straight like corridor with like the weird zigzaggy path that you're supposed to take to avoid being brained by some creatures above you. But you know the path, or at least Chris knows the path, and you just follow his lead. You do find Pratchell walking around. You find Pratchell sort of in the front foyer with all the fucking like mimic objects. Everything here is almost fake. Yeah, you seem currently just reading through some books. Not even like study books, just an actual novel, like a light novel, I guess. You're sort of rocking back and forth in a chair by a magically lit fire.
What's the book you're reading?
He sort of hops up. Ah, Chrysostomach, my boy! Oh god, I sound like Sean Connery now. Yeah, but he sort of hops up, closes the book, and he sort of just begins to pinch your cheeks a little bit. You know, it hasn't been really that long since you've seen him last. No, Oh, you've grown. You've grown. Oh, it's you.
Hey.
And he looks towards the other three of you.
I actually completed my spell.
You did? Oh, you did, didn't you?
Do you want to see it?
Yes, please, please.
I'll show him in my spell book and that.
Yeah, as you've been just flipping through the spell books and going through the process, and just like you just, oh yes, you went through this path. I see it. I prefer the other. And then they're going through nerd shit. Jenna, a fish boy, walks up to you.
Oh no! You?
It sort of like sputters through his gills and holds you up like a little like croissant. It's a little wet and slimy.
Wait, no, this guy?
No,
Okay.
it's about the same
We've done
size.
a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff. I'm like, this could be some Pratchell bullshit. Where it's like, remember he had a fish here 2 years ago? Okay.
Riley will lean in and say, I think that's one of the things that hatched from the egg.
Oh, yep.
He's grown so much.
He has grown, actually.
Ew.
He's grown to like a toddler to like the size of a small child now. He's about to reach maturity. but he's holding you a little tiny like breakfast croissant, Jana.
He's holding me like one, or he's giving me one.
Yeah, he has a little breakfast croissant in his hand that he's offering you.
Jana will take it.
Yeah, as you peel it off his hand, you see this little like string of slime separate between his hand and the croissant. It's damp. Has a consistency of like a wet towel.
Jana will just kind of smile and just be like, "Thank you."
This
It
one
begins
is
to-
mild mannered.
He used to walk back somewhere and return with 2 more croissants, which it tries to offer towards you, Riley and Zero.
Riley is actually going to cast tongues. And he's going to say,
Thank you very much. By the by, are you physically capable of speaking common?
You in physically you hear, but in your brain you hear, "Thank you, good man. I theoretically am capable of speaking common, though I have not learned such a language. In fact, I don't know the necessary manner of my birth, or who I am. I don't think I was even bequeathed a name." Or did you name him, Chris? I don't remember.
I'll
don't
name
think-
him
I don't think you did yet.
Little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy. Little Jimmy, the little fish boy you hatched like a while ago.
Riley switching back to common. Chris, did you give him a name?
Not well. Pratchell, did you give this one a name?
I told you, my boy, that having a pet is a lot of responsibility. No, I did not name it, though I did teach it to fetch me croissants.
Rachel, this creature is very intelligent. You should teach it how to speak.
Pratchell sort of just looks at him dead in the eye. The fish guy, little fish boy, his eyes are looking 2 directions. And Pratchell just goes, "Croissant!" And the fish boy just walks away, returns with the croissant.
Riley will speak to the fish. There's more to life than fetching croissants.
There is.
Are you satisfied with where you're at?
He feeds me little flakes.
Well, can't argue with that.
And at which point, Pratchell reaches into his pocket and he pulls out like what looks like chips of sawdust, and he throws it on the ground. And the fish guy, little Jimmy, begins to just pick them up and eat them one by one.
Very
He picks them
mild-mannered.
up off the ground.
Yes.
It's so rude.
I don't think he knows any better.
Oh.
Pratchell sort of turns back towards you, Chris, after having run down the basics of your spell, and like he gets it. It's like, "Oh, well, you have to teach me that someday, boy." Croissant. Hands you a croissant. It's wet and slimy. It doesn't even ask you if you like. He doesn't even wait for you to reach it. He sort of stuffed into your mouth. Why did you come back? Should you be out causing a ruckus, testing a new spell, learning new things?
Yes, actually learning new things. Well, actually, we were gonna try and fetch our horses, but I was also wondering if you knew anything about Titans, where you might know dead Titans, like the grave of dead Titans.
Dead Titans.
I like that delivery.
Dead Titans, no. Live Titans once, but I don't know where it is anymore. Unless I hallucinated the whole thing.
You actually seen a live Titan?
I thought I did.
Oh, where?
That was when I was young. Oh, this is a little island off far into the Sea of Despira. A lot of storms there. Don't go there. Well, maybe you do. It'd be fun. Just don't die.
Been there, done that. Thanks.
He knows what I'm talking about. Croissant? You have one. Anyway,
I'm going to
This-
tell the fishman. Have you ever tried eating the croissant?
they don't look like the flakes that he feeds me.
You'll find they're even tastier. Give it a try.
Make a persuasion check.
I can't believe I actually have to fucking persuade a fish to eat a bread.
The best roll of the game is like not making deals or anything, just fish, maybe eat bread. Yeah, enough. He sort of just takes a bite of the croissant. He just looks up to you with dead fish eyes, just no life in them. I don't like it.
Well, you don't have to eat it then.
It tastes sad and cowardly.
That's what they called me in high school.
Cowardly?
It tastes as if running away could have a taste. He picks up a little flake off the ground. This is hard. It has bite, texture, life.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Jana wants to try a flake.
They are straight up wood chips. Like actually just
I
wood
want to
chips.
try one.
You take a
Maybe
bite. It
there's
is-
something to it.
You take off these you take a bite and it is like they're shaved very thin, like kind of like pencil shavings. You take a bite and it is not pleasant. It tastes vaguely of pine, which is like the most pleasant texture you can get from it, but like then it gets really ashy and like sharp and like grainy and gritty. You're just powering through it.
Jana's gonna spit it out and be like, it's fucking raw.
I'll turn to the group and be like, I can't believe it. Is this Stockholm Syndrome? This creature's perfectly fine with his current situation.
If he's happy, they can't really do much, you know? I don't know. To each their own bliss.
Riley, have you tried to feed him fish?
Wouldn't that be
That's fucked
cannibalism?
up. That's fucked up.
Too far.
I mean, I guess other fish eat other fish in the ocean. So, I don't know. Do you want to enable cannibalism? That's the real question you have to ask yourself.
Always.
Yeah? Alright. I'll turn to the Kuatoa, the fish thing, and give him a fish.
You give him a fish and he just takes a bite off its head, begins chewing on it, and then pauses for a little bit. Looks up at you. Riley, with dead fish eyes. I yearn for blood.
Riley will hide his fish bag and say, I have made a terrible mistake.
Friend, where might I come across this delicacy?
Look what you did.
You can find it in places with lots of water.
The fish guy, little Jimmy, goes into the back room somewhere, out of sight, comes back with a kitchen knife, and walks up to Pratchell, and all the rest of you hear, except Riley, you just hear... Riley, you hear... Sir, thank you for raising me. But respectfully, I quit. I've discovered a higher calling in my life. Farewell. And just walks out the door, kitchen knife in hand.
You know what? Good for him.
No one wants to work anymore.
I guess we raised him well.
The next 30 years, fish population has declined by 15%. No one knows why.
Those are baby numbers. I could do better in my sleep.
In my mind, he's gonna open up like ye old Red Lobster.
Ye old lobster.
New competition.
I'm gonna guess Pratchett like doesn't even fucking notice him walk out.
Nope.
Nope. We've
He'll
done a good
notice when he
deed
asks for a
today.
croissant and doesn't get one.
I don't know who I am. I don't understand the circumstance of my birth. But I do know one thing. That food is delicious. I must have more.
I yearn for blood.
Well, I got nothing else to do. He's gone.
Why are we here
Folded.
again?
Horses. Speaking of, I'm going to send to Fieri, and I'm going to say, "Hi, Fieri. Sorry we've been gone so long. I have fish for you. We'll be there soon."
I hope the horses have beards now.
Just get all scarred up and wild-eyed.
How long? What's the lifespan of a horse? Do I want to look
More-
this up?
More than a year. I don't know how long, actually, though.
Say equestrians are probably like at least 20s.
25 to
right?
30 years.
Yeah, so
Oh shit.
Oh my god. And then some can live up to their 50s or 60s.
Jesus Christ.
that's not all that surprising.
They're so expensive though. I mean, I guess it's like you gotta take out a mortgage. I guess that's why people take out mortgages for a horse. It's the same time span. Wow.
You crunch through and go like a carrot.
Okay. Well, they're still alive then for sure.
Unless something happened to them in the past year.
Message sent.
Alright. You get rapid neighing in your brain for like about 20 seconds. And then it stops.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We should get going.
Yep, we can start heading down.
Okay. As you all they do just pack up, walk out the door. Pratchett sort of stops you, Chris. Oh, right. And sort of hands you like a little lunchbox, like a little child's lunchbox. Take that. Eat it when you get hungry.
Oh, what's in there?
Croissants.
Oh, okay. They should come in handy.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Or do everything I wouldn't do. Up to you. Slams the door in your face. Alright, but heading down to Nelid. How long does tongues last? 10 minutes?
Something like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, but it takes a 2 days travel towards Nelid down the mountain.
Oh, it's an hour, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess not that far. I forgot. I put this thing too far up the map. Yeah, so it doesn't take too long. I forget my own time. Let's see, what time is it now? Okay. There we go. Yeah, but you're making your way to the little town of Nelid. That's where you left Fieri last time, who I think just walked out of the gates
Yep.
with all 3 of your horses in tow. Or is it? Did one of
Or
them
was
die?
it 2?
Maybe 2. I think some of you just shared one of them.
A horse died at some point. Also, Jenna has Giorgio.
Giorgio. Yeah, so it's probably just 3 then. Yeah, but making your way down, you see the large wooden palisade walls.
Wait, didn't we have
The-
more horses?
Yeah, but one died.
Okay, okay. Sorry. I'm there now.
I think
do
it was
not remember
Gordon.
how they did it.
Is it actually Gordon?
It's poetic.
I think so. Yeah.
You knew Gordon for about 10 minutes in real time. And look at the impact he's made.
On the entire campaign.
Yeah. But everyone dear to you is named Gordon.
So we still have Ramsey, we still have Fieri. We have one more. Was it Wolfgang?
Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Damn, you really remember your horses, huh?
Yes! We've only had one set of horses.
Then you replace them with a new shiny model of called Polaris. But walking through, you go through the city gates, the sort of armed, some haphazardly militia guard. Don't stop you as you enter. As you enter the fairly heavy woodworking section of the. Well, I guess the entire city is a woodworking section. Anywhere you're going in particular.
To the direction our horses went.
That'd be okay. So you don't enter the gate. You have no idea where they went. They went out the gates somewhere.
Oh, from this gate?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll send to Fieri again. And be like, alright, we're waiting outside the gate.
Okay. You just get a short neigh. I can't do horse noises.
I thought Fieri was a demon.
He is.
Just a horse demon.
Some sort of horse-shaped creature.
Think demons can't neigh.
That's true. You're right. I'm being racist.
Or racist of you. Bowen doing full hate crimes in broad daylight.
Someone cancel me already.
Let's get this shit over with.
Someone roll a d20 for me.
Not I.
Can I do it?
Sure. Okay.
Isn't that an unlucky number?
That's true.
And it's Friday.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, but it's Saturday in other parts of the world, including yours.
Yeah.
Prove it.
I play by Animal Crossing rules, so it's not the next day till 6 a.m. I wish I was joking.
All right. So you wait there for a good number of hours. They're apparently not nearby, assuming they're coming to your location at all. About high noon hits, and you sort of just stood there. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
At that point, I'd probably just send again, like, did you get held up somewhere, or are you really far away?
Yeah. You don't get any noises, but you get the message was sent.
Am I able to scry on Fieri?
If you want
Give
to,
it a
you know
shot.
what he looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, if Riley's... If we're not able to find him right now, I'm gonna scry on him real quick.
Okay. You What the fuck is this? I mean, I'm not gonna roll. Yeah, not high enough for your thing. Oh yeah, I guess now what the DC of your of scrying of the scry is now higher because you used your dagger DC now. Yeah, he does not succeed the save, so you do scry at him. You scry on a normal looking horse. Like it's like a very it's like a pure brown roan horse. You gather that's Fieri, just blending in as he does, and you see familiar horses. You see, let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see. I know I have it somewhere. There it is. Oh yeah, you only have 3 horses. You see a full black horse, which looks like Ramsey, and you see Wolfgang, this brown speckled horse that is kind of in the back. You also see an extra horse, a smaller horse. Looks like a calf of some sort, just following along, and they're all just in the same. Just like Fieri's just walking, just walking somewhere. It looks around them. This looks like plains. You see some trees in the distance, but you don't see a city necessarily. But they're walking.
For a minute, I thought he was at an airport. I just didn't think of the right plane.
Do I recognize any of the scenery around? We've been through the plains of Nelid before, right? Like when we fought the Froghemoth? No, the Hydra.
You went to the you went to the Forest of Phases for that, I believe. But like,
okay.
yeah. North of Nelid is plains mostly.
Which direction's north?
North.
I know, physically, like, what are we facing north?
If you'd like to, y'all are facing whichever way direction you like.
And they went north to the northern north.
Okay. After the scrying is done, I will take out my little compass and I will begin sprinting in that direction and just be like, I call the baby horse, and I just keep running.
We don't actually get to see what Zero sees, right?
Nope.
Alright. Baby horse, what?
What color was it?
It looked to be a similar coat to Ramsey.
Okay. Oh, wait, do we remember like what gender the horses
No.
were?
I have no fucking idea.
I don't think we have ever
Gender
decided that.
horse.
Yeah, I'm like Naruto running towards the north because I want the baby horse
Naruto.
to call.
Well, follow Zero, I guess.
Yeah, it's just being sprinting that direction. You begin running for the next 2 hours. And you're just sprinting north and just hoping that they're that direction somewhere. Like you mostly saw plains. You didn't see very much around you other than just grass, and like they're walking. They're not even running. They're just walking. Make a perception check for me.
Me?
Yes.
Can I send Azik up ahead of me?
Sure.
So can I make one for both of us?
Sure.
Thank you. Yep, no.
10.
Azix is a 18.
Okay. Sure. Azek spots them before you do, as this is 2 hours of running after meeting halfway at some point. You've been here for a while, mostly waiting, but then you've been running for the 2 hours, and the rest of your sprinting after Zero.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, I think at some point I will make use of an actual spell that I haven't used yet, and I'll cast Phantom Steed on. Yeah. How
Okay.
long does Phantom Steed last?
You tell me. You have the spell.
It lasts 1 hour. So I guess at some point I'll cast Phantom Steed and make a Phantom Steed on my way to the real steed.
Okay. What's your phantom steed look like?
Can I make it look like a cat?
Sure.
Okay. It has the stats of a horse, but it's a. Can I make it look like a cat?
What sort of cat? Like a skinny sphinx cat or like a hairy tabby cat?
No, yeah, like a good little Sphinx cat or like a.
Like a
Siamese
Totoro.
cat.
Totoro bus.
Little hairless cat.
Sure. Yeah, as this gross-looking skinless cat can just summon magically apparated from like the ether into the worst cat objectively.
No.
Oh, that's kind of good. They do look gross. They look like a scrotum. Yeah, you summon a cat. It's just as you. What does it look like that you're casting?
I almost want it to be like the air and the dust around me starts to like swirl a little bit, and then he just kind of manifests in there.
Sure. It's like, yeah, almost like a magic trick, a literal magic trick. Like the point where you summon this cat is obscured for a bit, and as it begins to fade, and the collection of dust and leaves and whatever detritus is on the ground falls to the ground, a magically evaporated cat appears, which you mount and then begin to speed forward towards where these horses are. Which at this point, Azek does spot them, a group of 4 or 3.5. The disguised brown horse, Fieri, and then your 2 main horses of Ramsey, Wolfgang, black and brown speckled, respectively, and a smaller calf. Who knows how old it is at this point, but it's small. Small.
Oh.
That's a good small.
Oh.
I haven't done a good small in a while.
At this point, I assume the rest of us are like way fucking behind.
A little bit. Takes you some time to catch up. So 0, you get there first. How'd you doing?
Azek spots them.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're waiting for the rest of your compatriots, you will be far ahead. Except maybe of Jana, who's Giorgio is incredibly fast.
Yeah, he is.
I'll use Misty Step the whole way through.
You can't do that infinitely now, can you?
Yeah, I can.
Well, that leaves Riley with. He's gonna be at the back of the pack then, I guess.
All right.
So,
Playing a little ditty on his lyre lute.
yeah. So 0 gets there.
What it's like.
0 gets a head start, but Giorgio has the speed of a motorbike. So I think Jana and 0 get there probably about the same time. Followed by Chris, followed by Riley. But so 0 and Jana, you were the first to arrive at the horses.
I will dismount and dismiss the cat phantom steed, and I will maybe just shout. No, I don't want to shout. I don't. What else is around us? Like, is it like dangerous out here? Like they're just chilling out, but like.
They just chilling. Looks like planes.
I'll try to maybe just wave and get his attention.
Sure. You wave, and it is a horse. It cannot wave back, but it is approaching you. Yep, and it's just slowly walking towards you. Not running or anything, not excited. But it's walking. Slowly walking.
Can Giorgio be out?
Yeah. I imagine Giorgio is if you want to catch up to 0. But yeah.
Well, we'll pass 0.
Yeah, you will pass 0 if you feel like it. You could absolutely could. Giorgio goes so quick, it's not even funny. Like,
Wait,
it's.
how fast does he go?
I think it's a speed of 80, I think, at this point.
80
So.
per
I
turn.
could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 80 at this point.
This sheet might not load. I've been having trouble with some of the sheets loading halfway through a session.
Let me see. Okay, not 80. 50. Still pretty fucking quick.
I mean, he can dash.
You could dash. Horses again too, but their speed is only like I think 40 or something like that.
No, horses are 60.
Damn.
And I'll double check. I think the spell has different stats. I mean, I know it's like a horse's stats, but I thought the speed was different.
I think it just lists stats of a
The
normal horse.
creature uses the statistics of a riding horse, except it has a speed of 100 feet and can travel 10 miles in an hour. or 30
Never mind.
miles at a
Zero
fast
gets there
pace.
first. Damn. Damn. Georgia can travel for longer though. How about that?
No, yeah, Giorgio is the real deal. This boy is my. I only have 2 spell slots of that level, so
That's an Uber, pretty much.
yeah.
I technically don't even need to move my legs.
You're just like Photoshop translating like a little bit every time with the steps. Just copy pasting the entire way there.
Things you have to do when you're dragonless.
At some point, you just see this like a T posing Chris just 30 feet by 30 feet. Slowly
He's like an SCP.
no leg movement, just teleportation. This is honestly a terrifying sight. A T posing Chris just teleporting 30 feet towards you like a rapid pace. Yeah. You arrive first, Zero, then Jana, towards the horses that you are getting pretty close, like within tens of feet of each other at this point. And the horses make no effort to run or anything. They're just slowly walking towards you. What are you doing? You've waved, but you're pretty close to approaching now.
I will approach them slowly just so I don't scare them.
Yeah, you approach them slowly, and then as you're sort of slowly approaching, the pack of the herd is just making way towards you and just stops like 5 feet in front of you.
What's the little what are they called? Baby horses?
Calves,
Cat? No, are they calves? I thought they're colts.
foals,
Okay, the baby
Maybe.
horse. The baby horse.
baby horse.
What's he doing? What's his demeanor like? Is he scared?
It's a dumb little horse. Its eyes are looking at two directions at once, and it's currently just like fucking just like looking up at the sky and like chasing like getting distracted by a butterfly.
I love him.
Yeah, at this point, Jenna, you arrive pretty close behind. Fieri sort of lets the illusionary skin shed a little bit as it returns to that black skeletal form with the sort of spiraling black horn, the very familiar sight of a demon horse that you're familiar with, signifying that is the strange magical horse that you found in the woods a long time ago. Fieri. Or Fieri, if you want to be proper about it.
Okay. We just gallop and run around, I guess. I don't know. Just
Frolic.
yeah.
While we wait for
Try
Ryan.
and race.
Yeah. Joshua gallops and frolics, and who's the skittish one? I think one of them had a near-death experience, is now skittish. Wolfgang, the brown speckled horse, is now skittish. Wolfgang does not. None of the big horses actually do. It's the little baby horse that follows around the bear, trying to chase him. At the size the baby horse is, it cannot catch up to Giorgio. Giorgio is doing like basketball ankle breakers on the horse, just like juking one direction, then the horse sort of like flips over a little bit and then like continues chasing. Riley, no, Chris, you T-pose into the position.
Fury, I've arrived.
He sort of just looks at you.
I see Ramsey and Wolfgang there as well.
Yeah, Fury sort of just snorts, almost like confirming they are there. They look healthy enough. And a couple new scars, but not like life-threatening or anything. Nothing that needs suturing. Just like maybe attacked by a couple wolves or like a small predator bird for fun. But, like stuff that would leave a mark, but nothing that would kill them. Yeah, and they are alive. Yeah, and Riley, you come up having no special form of transportation, just running with your 2 legs like a plebeian.
I could have used my teleportation at some point, but nah, inefficient. And then I'll take out the fish bag and be like, all right, well, I've kept you waiting long enough. I'll grab a fish and toss it at him.
Yeah, you toss it, and yeah, Ramsey. Nope, not Ramsey. Fieri. Jesus, I'm looking at all the names at once. Fieri sort of just catches it midair a little bit, stands up on 2 legs, takes a chew, and just begins to walk closer towards you. Riley sort of just getting very close up to you right now, sort of just slowly pressing its face against you.
Want another? I've got a few more.
Yep, it snorts. Fieri.
Yoink. And I'll grab another fish and give.
Yeah, and it's been a while since you've seen Fury, and the weird ick of a horse with sharp teeth just chewing through meat begins to bubble up again. But then it's like, no, this is technically your horse now.
Right.
You're used to this now, or you become used to it again.
I'm also going to ask Fieri. I'll just use my fool's insight for this one. So what's the deal with the small one?
Fury isn't a regular horse, but it also doesn't have like it understands common, but doesn't really speak necessarily. You gather from its surface thoughts that the black horse at some point mated with another.
Okay, so unrelated to, or not unrelated, but still like,
Quite literally related.
Ramsey?
the other parent is not around.
Seemingly not, no.
Okay.
Damn, same.
All right, I'll relay that to 0. And that's it. If Ramsey permits ride, then I'll hop on.
Ramsey or Fury?
No, sorry, Fury. Oh
Fury.
my god, now I'm falling into the same trap you have.
There's so many horses.
And they're all named after fucking cuisine!
They are.
I'll get on Ramsey, I think. Or is it Wolfgang?
No, I think Wolfgang was 0s.
Oh, I don't think I ever really had one. I liked
No?
Wolfgang just because of the name, but I don't really think I claimed one previously.
I'll go on Ramsey.
Okay. Yeah, they have no saddles currently or anything, so they're just barebacked horses. But you can try to mount them. It's a little harder to ride them, but
Can I conjure a saddle?
you can conjure a small saddle probably, yeah. Try to keep reconjuring it, yeah.
Okay.
Jana, are you gonna ride a horse or are you gonna stay with Giorgio?
Giorgio.
Yeah, George's back has a Janus-shaped imprint in this, like Verna. You know, you sit in a chair long enough, it just makes like an imprint.
I thought he has like a little saddle.
Oh, he does have a little saddle. That saddle has a little imprint of Jana now. Okay, are you just gonna ride all the way to the snowboard? Or are you gonna teleport there at some point?
I think we were gonna teleport from here back to Obethus and then go from there to Silverwood.
Can we? How many creatures do we have on us right now? We have the 4 plus the 5. So that's exactly enough for teleport? I don't remember if teleport is limited.
I think you can teleport 10 creatures.
Okay, we're fine.
Okay. I'll use one of the charges from my hat and I will. Can I teleport? Oh, I don't. Oh, wait. I was about to teleport us back to the holotent. But it would take us like inside of the holotent, right?
I think so. If you
Okay.
have something from inside the Hall of 10, yes.
But I have something from like a general area in Obethus, right? From like stealing from there for so long.
Yes, you have in like just stones that like lead you to like back alleys.
Okay. If I can get something that'll teleport us to like almost the edge of the city towards the south, as far south as we can get, I guess, if that's the direction we have to go.
Yeah, you probably have stuff from outside the Gemstone Center, because that's where you've been hitting mostly. Yeah, just the tree branch, just like on like a decorative tree branch that just like nearby, just a couple minutes away from the gate, but away from prying eyes, that you could just teleport into. Mostly as like an escape measure, just in case, but it might be useful for travel now. Alright, then riding south to the Silverwood.
Believe so.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, with Polaris still on his way to Noria, which I guess I should move his token a little bit now. He has a fast fly speed, but in this instance, having a eye from above is not very useful, and for the first time in a long time, at least as a group, you have to travel on the road by foot, just hairs away from danger, like you were when you started. You no longer have the luxury of flying high and above the danger, you are within it, because you need to be close by to what you need to look for, which you're not sure what to look for necessarily. But you know that the Silverwood, with its just pale white logs, large canopies, and light choking darkness, is an oppressively mystical and dangerous place to begin with. And just a few hours out of the city, you go past a couple of the few logging centers that the Silverwood has. This forest is still intact, it's not fully on fire. And a couple minutes after those logging centers, you are in full wilderness. Yeah, just trekking along. What are you looking for in particular?
I think evidence. Yeah, evidence of evidence of magic, maybe. Maybe ruins of some sort.
Okay. Okay. You're about a day into your travel. The first day, nothing you see, and by this point, the light's already been fading because you've been waiting for Fury for some time. At some point, you'll need to set up camp.
Good to do that whenever.
Before, I guess as we're traveling, I'll kind of make it as I go. I want to make like a little rope harness for the baby horse.
Sure, like a little lead.
Yeah, like I don't want it to be like around his neck because I don't want it to pull his neck, but like yeah, like a little baby harness, kind of like a baby backpack.
Sure.
Just something to like keep hold of him. And I
Sure.
want him to like I want him to like walk in between us so he's not like on the outskirts of the group. He's like in the middle between all of us.
What is his name?
Doesn't have one yet.
I haven't decided yet. I think it'd be funny to just completely disrespect the theme we have going of like, you know, like master chefs and just go like Hot Pocket or something stupid. I won't do that to him, but I don't know. I want to think of a name.
Delicio.
No. Pillsbury.
Emergency rations.
Betty Crocker.
Betty Crocker.
Okay, but light does fall, and even though there is technically sun out, the sun gets dim enough where it's pretty much going to be pitch black in the Silverwood with its light choking canopies. The trees past the areas where they were logging, like a few pieces of it where you actually cut down silverwood trees. As you get further in, the older the trees get and the more thick the older they are, and the tangle of roots and vegetation that would break most people's ankles if they're not careful. You're slowly trudging through to make sure your horses aren't just destroying their legs by going through here. It's better than a wagon, which you managed to work with anyway. But the light does fall. It is pitch black. I guess you don't need to set up camp. You have the mansion.
Bring the horses into the mansion.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, it's up to you though. How are you handling the night?
Old-timey camping.
Damn,
I'm down for some
we're really
old-time
throwing
camping.
that.
Yeah, well, we can do camping. No tiny hut, just the rocks.
No tent.
And set an alarm.
I'll perch Isaac on the baby horse,
Sure.
and I will just tell him, protect.
Protect.
Been a while since we've had to keep watch. This'll be an interesting 4 hours.
Are you doing the first 4?
Yeah, you could if you want. Doesn't really matter to me.
Sure, I guess I'll do the first 4.
Okay. All right. As you, again, for the first time in a long time, you set up camp with your old bedrolls. You dusted them off. You haven't really opened them in a long time. They sort of unravel them. Just this big plume of just detritus and whatever sand just kicks up. As you all lay down and begin to build a fire to sort of keep yourselves warm as the gray clouds still overhead. You hear some distant rumbling of thunders just in the distance. Promises of rain probably the next day, maybe. A low rolling fog begins to go through the Silverwood, and visibility becomes not zero, but fairly obscured. The ground moist, but you set up camp regardless. Insects begin to huddle around you. The buzzing begins to annoy. The smell of peat, the forest, woods. It's been a while since you've actually camped in one, and it's kind of nice in a weird way, away from the comfort of the dragon, of the mansion, even the temperature-controlled room of the huts. You are just you and nature as the adventure always starts. Chris, you were taking first watch.
Yep.
Of
I'll have my Giselle rifle next to me.
course you will. Sure, make a perception check. Okay. Okay. Keeping an eye out, ear out, just ready to pop a cap in anyone that rolls up too close to your camp. You hear some scurrying a little bit, some underbrush rustling. You feel like something's watching you for a little bit, but then that feeling fades, and you surmise probably something was, but whatever it was probably moved on at this point. You have 60 feet of dark vision around you, but and the trees themselves aren't super sparse, super packed together, but it is dark, and it is a little hard to see past, even with dark vision, see very clearly into where there's no light. The campfire helps, at least keep a semblance of safety. But for the next 4 hours, you pass by unharmed. Who's taking next watch?
Be Riley.
Okay. Make a perception check.
I'd also like to specifically look out for white lilies.
Okay. Sure. Join me, Sneaky Beaky.
Okay.
Well, I don't like that.
Just like old times.
In the Silverwood. I think that's where we first met the Buckhead. It's also where we, I think we saw the fairies, or like the pixies,
Yeah.
and the spiders. And the Chimera, and Displacer Beasts. There's definitely a lot of different things.
Riley's a good boy. So what's our, like, do we have really much of a plan, or we're just gonna just be looking out for stuff?
I think we were heading back to the prison thing. That's what I thought we were gonna.
Okay.
Well, it's mostly just looking out for, we could head back to the thing, but also looking for any other ruins or something like that, because probably, like, since the Titans and that sort of thing were fighting with the gods, there was a lot of destruction with the cities and humanity and that sort of thing, so there could be some lost cities in the area. Which may be a battleground for, like, the Titans and the gods, so there might be a dead Titan here somewhere. I do think that Blackback Quarry is probably where Sylnia is getting
You're
its like
obsessed.
Arcanite.
Brandon, you're obsessed.
I just think that that's where you know, that's where they're probably getting the Arcanite and Arcanium and that sort of thing to power their stuff. Since it's pretty close to Sylnia, they can use that to like power their things and that sort of thing. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
What if he sees Bigfoot?
It's a possibility you see some something similar like that.
I hope it's just some kind of scary animal and not like the fucking lily people thing.
What were the lily people?
Well, not people, but like the lilies, the white lilies were like whenever something was like possessing the animals and talking through them to us and warning us to stop coming after like the aliens.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
So yeah, I hope it's like I hope it's just like a dumb animal and not like that, because that is, yeah.
Would you spell Azul Azuel?
I don't think
there's
there's
an
an
extra letter
E.
in there.
Yeah, I don't think there's an E.
Bright blue, 5 letters, begins with AZU.
Huh. Maybe there's an E at the end, but I really don't think there is.
It's how many letters?
5. Bright blue. One of the
Yeah.
downs is counselor on the Enterprise. 4 letters, begins with T. That's like Star Trek, but like I don't know whose name is like that or like a role.
T.
I really only watch like the original Star Trek. I don't know the other gens.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I only know the original characters.
This one's been also plaguing me, but I feel really good in the letters. Cat's plaything, 5 letters, begins with S-K-E. Squeak? Squeak with a K?
It's 5 letters?
5 letters. Why, what were you thinking of something with more or less letters?
And it starts with S, Q.
No, S-K-E. Like this one's the one that's been bothering me because there's only so many things cats play with.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm looking up one of the across because I think that one's bullshit.
Because I only know what my cats play with, and that's like strings and that sort of stuff. I don't know what SKE is.
S-K-E-I. Am I spelling something else wrong? What is this? Skeen? What is that? Is what a ball of yarn is called?
I'll be right back real quick.
Yeah.
Did we die?
No. Alright, sorry that I'm using you guys to solve this crossword. The theme for this is a bunch of these clues start with Sesame Street character names. So I've got like a Bert Lauer, Grover Cleveland, Ernie Els. Who the fuck else is on Sesame Street? Elmo is in a different one.
The
Big
Count,
Bird?
Count?
Zoe,
Zoe's good.
Snuffleupagus.
Can you imagine? The hint that I've got that's one more name is Kojak Portrayer. Don't know who that is, but it's like blank. It's like 3 blanks LY, which feels to me like that's one name, but I really don't really know where the name starts and ends. You know.
Yeah. Only other name I can think of is like Oscar.
Oscar's good.
Oscar the Grouch.
Isn't there the Count?
Yeah.
Just gonna
In-
fucking
Is Big Bird part of it?
Yeah, he is. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Who's in Kojak? I'm just gonna look it up. I'm over this. Telly. Telly? Who the fuck is Telly?
That sounds familiar.
Cookie Monster?
Oh yeah. What's that guy's name? The guy that lives in Elmo's closet, like Mr. Nudo.
Mr. Noodle.
Noodle. Oh, Telly. Telly's the purple one.
Really? Hold on.
She
I'm
kind of
looking.
looks like Zoe, but she's purple.
Nope. I'm sorry. Nobody knows who that is, though. New York Times, you
That's fair.
suck. Oh, okay. I don't
Oh,
think
no,
I
I'm thinking of
ever
the
knew
wrong one.
his name. Okay. Do you know what I feel kind of bad for Telly? Even though he was like way ahead. He was kind of like knockoff Barney the dinosaur.
Oh, Kermit.
Oh, Kermit, yeah. Not a lot of
Hey.
normal people names. Have you seen there's like a Venn diagram of like Jim Henson character names? Or maybe it is Sesame Street.
I thought Kermit was what's it? The Muppets.
I thought so too. I was about to say, are the Muppets like they're similar
yeah,
conceptually,
Muppets.
yeah, but are they owned by the same people? Or are they part of the
It's
same
all
universe?
Jim Henson.
Okay, makes sense.
Venn diagram. Yes, 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 yes. I love when you can find something that you've like only seen once, you know?
You all
Did
wake
we
up
die?
and find
Yeah, you're dead. Sorry, I couldn't save us.
In the afterlife.
yeah, but you
Simon,
return to
carry
your
on.
camp. You return to your camp,
Yep.
and morning comes.
No other thing of note?
Not like that, no.
Well, no, of course not, but like, nothing even minor, like a wolf shows up.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna wait for them to notice on their own, I think. I'm not even gonna say anything.
You all awake from your either 4-hour meditation or actual real life person nap. I refuse to believe elves are real. Yeah, but you're all awake. The sun is down, or up, I guess, and shining down. It is gray, it is dark, but there's light, if a bit sparse.
Do we head out?
I guess.
Is the baby horse okay?
Baby horse is okay. Isaac has not noticed anything around the campsite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Riley will just prepare as normal
Sure. as you
and,
just
and wait
keep
and
going.
see if anybody notices.
Okay. As you're sort of getting ready for the day, just prepping everything, you need to march forward. And ahead of you is a almost perfectly circular indent in the ground, like almost like a crater.
My, what a
Oh.
strange sight that is.
What is that?
What is that indeed?
Don't. What?
Like it's like a crater, like complete crater, like
Well,
It's not
It
too
wasn't-
deep, but it's
it-
it's a crater. Yeah.
It wasn't there last night, right? And, if I recall, there was nothing that landed there either. I would know. I would have seen it. So, let's play a game. What do you guys think it was?
Wait, what are we going? What you saw last night?
Yeah, I saw something last night.
I
Did you see Luca?
No. At least I don't think I did. Interesting guess. From my knowledge, it was not the commission at all.
was it someone from the academy?
From my knowledge, no.
Was it a gravekeeper?
Also, probably not. We're getting closer, though.
Pratchell.
I don't think even Pratchell could pull off what that did.
Is
Do
it
you
the
just want to
invaders?
tell us?
All right, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. In the middle of my watch last night, I look over. I see something strange, something odd and reflective. Upon further inspection, it wasn't just an obelisk. It was huge. The biggest one we've seen yet. Here's something odd, though. You know, you think you would notice something like that upon approach, right? Especially because, you know, we're setting up camp. There's still light. Now, I go there. And there's houses, huts, a populace. And even stranger yet is that the land upon which it existed was mismatched. Some was sand, some was tundra, some was open grassland, some was forest. And at the center of it all stood the obelisk. So, I think that might have been, or at least has relation to, the island that Rezerli Novos is stuck on. The populace there informed me Novos is like a deity to them. And also told me to leave the island. So I did. And when I looked back, all that remained was the crater.
So you were on the island?
Yeah. It just spawned here. Lucky find, I guess. And now that I have all my fucking spells back, I'm going to attempt to send to the Scion. And I'll ask, is this getting through?
You send to the Scion, the figure you spoke to last night. You find no target named that. You find no target,
Ooh.
even.
Okay, well, that's not great. It seems they phased out of existence. But there is a silver lining. They also told me there's a key. A piece of broken obelisk somewhere that we must find so that we can connect back to the island. I should note, the obelisk on that island produced no corruption.
It was interesting because I took a. Maybe that's where Mazmazak is.
Well, I didn't see any humans there. They were glass people. But they were people. You know, normal. Not like the strange creatures we've encountered.
I remember when I spoke to Nicodaxian, he told me that he believed whatever was left of Rosary Novos was not salvageable. That she's like ripped herself apart at this point, and he said he didn't even know if her soul was like intact anymore.
Well, she wasn't there, I can say that much. Hold on. Simon, when I tried sending to Novos earlier, did I find a target?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's another thing we need to be on the lookout for, then.
Is it a piece of that specific obelisk?
Did I... In the short time I was able to get a really good look at it, did it look like anything was missing?
From the distance to where you were, for the time you were there, not really.
Haven't the faintest idea, really. But
Was it a different color than the ones that we're used to?
no. Oh, that actually is Simon. Oh, yikes.
Because they do have a piece of obelisk.
From what I understand, they say it's a key. I don't know, I mean, you could try it. Fuck, I should have done it then. Never mind. Simon. Yeah, this might have to happen retroactively, because it only just occurred to me. Did I gather, that when the Scion looked at the moon, there was some sort of, like, sense of, like, oh fuck, or a sense of, that's my home?
Hard to tell. You were in a weird spot at that time.
Yeah, I was. Alright.
Make an insight check.
Sure.
Hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, we know there is a way to find that island again, which is nice.
Did they give
Besides
a
just spawning again. Did they what?
Did they give a hint on where the key might be?
Well, they're traveling all over the world, flipping in and out of existence constantly. They probably have no idea. I didn't really have enough time to ask. They'd shoot me off.
Perhaps.
Had I stayed any longer, I probably would have teleported with them, and then who knows what would have happened.
Perhaps. Perhaps they're. The key might be in these woods.
We can certainly have a look. Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to send to Zal. I'm going to say, a vanishing island has been found. And lost, yet again. Do you know anything about a key to find it?
You get back in the deep, strangely serene voice, considering how weird a creature Zal is. You found her island. Interesting. It is one even I have difficulty tracking. A piece is missing from it. Its movements are random. The piece is constant. Find it.
Yeah, I'll relay that back to the group. Basically, yep, Zal is basically knows the exact same amount I do then. It's somewhere. It's constant. So, it exists probably in a state of, tangibility at all times. It's somewhere. What if it's in Narset?
That's a possibility.
Maybe that's what they're protecting.
Do we know of any place that might have these glass people in our world?
Just the obelisks, but even then, those are the mishmash creatures that led to the rise of Nicodaxian. These were different. They were different, right?
They had some similarities, but they weren't vicious zombies trying to kill you.
Well, the ones we fought were vicious zombies, and these ones were docile and only interested in self-defense.
Seemingly.
Yeah, okay. But, visually, there was still distinctions to be made, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The ones you fought were very chaotic and random, like a disease in some ways. This felt more controlled.
Right. In other words, they are the key, I believe, to figuring out how we can defeat the invader. They don't seem to spread corruption. They just live normally. And one of them even speaks common, so that's nice.
I guess we just keep an eye out and just pay attention to anything that might sound like a key.
Sounds good to me. I have some more sending to do. First to Tannen. I'll say. Wait, hold on. First, I'll ask the group. Do we want to tell Tannen what's up with his boss, or just leave it?
It could be a good idea in case he gets the idea to betray her at some point.
Zero, Jenna.
I think Yes, at some point we should tell him, but I don't think it should be oversending.
No? Okay.
I can.
In that case, I will wait. And I'll send instead to Yule and say, we're in a tough spot. We are in a tough spot. We are in a tough spot. Liz Ricaldi is selfishly trying to resurrect Project Thunderhead for her own goals. So do everything you can to weasel in or sabotage. Send message.
Okay. Yeah, you get back early in the morning, but Yule's up at this point. All right. I'll try, but well, it'd be difficult to get into the geode crest, the big castle at the top. I'll see what I can do.
Okay, that's Yule taken care of. And then was there another one? Oh yeah, I wanted to try and contact the Archon again. Regardless of whether it sends or not, I'll just say, Archon. An unscrupulous individual has hijacked your city and is using it for unscrupulous means. Are you really okay with this? Send a message.
Locked.
Yeah, okay. That's all Riley's got to do. Unless we got time for some fishing and there's a creek nearby.
You use dexterity for fishing, right?
I believe... I don't know. I think it's actually strength. At least on my fishing rod, it's strength.
What's your strength modifier?
My strength modifier is 3.
That's how many fish
Which is
you get.
more than my dexterity. That's how many fish I get? 3?
Yep.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. Any other final activities before pressing on for the day?
I want to bond with my cult.
Make an animal handling check.
What if I didn't have to do that?
Well, you have to, because it's an animal, you are handling it. That's pretty good. Yeah, it seems to take to you pretty quick. It's not quite like, like you're full yet, but it's not afraid of you. It seems to be afraid of anything, to be honest. But yeah, it seems that you're just feeding it some air and food you have, and it seems to be doing okay.
Is it a boy or a girl?
Looking down and checking the equipment,
Checking the equipment.
it appears to be a girl.
Aw.
You do not see a big set of danglers, so that's what you surmise. All right. Any other final activities?
I think just searching for any ruins and that sort of thing.
Yep. The main goal. So, nothing else other than that. With some strange revelations happening. On a path to somewhere, following some breadcrumbs. And trying to piece together what you can to weather the upcoming storm, according to Riley's god. That is where we'll call it for tonight.
Good session.